The Beginning of Douluo with a pan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. I have fought against Douluo. 4. In the dark clouds. The huge body of the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex was fighting with the clear sky hammer, and the two of them were fighting heartily. As expected of the youngest titled Douluo in mainland China, he is indeed quite capable. Since the battle in the Star Luo Empire until now, this is the first time I have fought so happily with someone. The dragon's mouth squirmed slightly, making a human voice. It seems that, if I want to keep you here today, I have to use some special tricks. Really? It seems that you really want me to die here, but I don't know if you have the ability anymore. Tang Heo responded in a deep voice, while standing on the clear sky hammer. Suddenly, the dragon's eyes suddenly condensed. It's like I thought of something incredible. Tang Heo also frowned slightly at the same time. Both of them felt the aura of contrast, and they suddenly had some doubts in their hearts. Haven't the contrasts of the entire blue electric Tyrannosaurus family lost their combat effectiveness? The two of them each had their own concerns, and they immediately paid attention and looked down deliberately. Sure enough, they saw Tang Lin leading a large force flying towards the sect from above, seemingly trying to escape, but Wang Xiaoshu and Tang Xiaomi were in the martial arts arena. Yu Yuanzhen originally thought that they were holy. It was decided that the girl would stay, but he didn't expect that Wang Xiaoshu would kill all the strong men around him in an instant. And this contrast aura, it came from Wang Xiaoshu. Yu Yuanzhen and Tang Heo were immediately surprised. However, before they had time to think about anything else, they saw Wang Xiaoshu and Tang Xiaomi running directly to the back cliff, and then jumped off. Yu Yuanzhen's eyes widened immediately. As far as he knew, Wang Xiaoshu was not a flying soul master. It didn't matter if he died. If he died with the saint, the hope of the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family would be gone. The golden holy dragon only appears in classics. Yu Yuanzhen roared immediately and rushed down quickly with lightning speed, vowing to save the saint. Tang Heo was not slow at all and rushed down closely. However, as soon as they rushed down, they saw a magical scene. Just as Wang Xiaoshu jumped off the cliff, countless vines rushed out from the cliff and caught him directly. Immediately afterwards, the vines entangled a rope that led directly to the distant mountains. At the same time, the vines under their feet entangled into a 2 or 3 meter sized gourd to wrap the two of them. The two of them were directly like taking a cable car directly from the cliff of the martial arts venue, gliding towards the distant mountains. Yu Yuanzhen and Tang Heo were immediately stunned. Not to mention the two of them, even Wang Xiaoshu himself felt a little like he was in a dream. This was one of the escape plans Tang Lin gave him. He really didn't expect that it would actually succeed. All the people from the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family stared blankly at Wang Xiaoshu and Tang Xiaomi, who were gradually moving away from them. Everyone could not believe that this was true. It was really amazing. After a brief shock, Yu Yuanzhen was immediately furious. Those idiots didn't know why they all went after that boy Tang Lin. Don't they know that the saint is the most important? Even if he exerted all his strength and went a little faster, almost like lightning, he was about to intercept Wang Xiaoshu, but he felt a strong sense of oppression. When he turned around, Enuoda's clear sky hammer had already struck towards his waist. Exclamation mark. Tang Heo, at this moment, do you really want to die? Yu Yuanzhen was furious. The saint is still young, and she is very close to Tang Lin Wang Xiaoshu. If she is taken away by them this time, where should she find them in the vast sea of people? But facing Tang Heo, he had to take it seriously, otherwise he would end up like Kan Zhongji if he was not careful. Long tension thunder explosion. In an instant, thunder roared in the sky. The huge dragon body was thrown towards the tiny Tang Heo. However, the clear sky hammer passed by, and when they collided with each other, the dragon body was directly hammered to the entire martial arts arena, and Tang Heo was also thrown away by the dragon's tail covered with scales. 10 meters away, Seeing Wang Xiaoshu gradually disappearing from sight, Tang Heo was expressionless, but Yu Yuanzhen was furious again. Very well, you completely pissed me off. From now on, he will use all his strength to kill Tang Heo, and then go after the saint, because he knows that, as long as Tang Heo is still there, he will stop him. Tang Heo stood in midair, indifferent. After glancing in the direction of Wuhan Palace, he looked at Yu Yuanzhen again. His expression and momentum changed instantly. You want to kill me, Yu Yuanzhen? You are far from qualified. The soul ring under his feet was beating, and Tang Heo walked step by step holding the clear sky hammer in the air. Tang Lin is the future of my clear sky sect. Xiaomi, she is her sister. From now on, I will make you dare not have any bad thoughts about them. Ha 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 ha. That's ridiculous. Do you think you can do it? I thought I was arrogant enough, but I didn't expect that I'm still not as good as you. Tang Heo picked up the clear sky hammer and clenched his fist. I think I can do it, because it's very simple. I just need to beat you until you lie on the ground and can't move. That's it, isn't it? If your grandfather Tang Chen said this, I would never have any objection, but you, Tang Heo, don't have this weight and are not qualified enough. Ultimate Douluo is naturally powerful, but it's not like I haven't experienced it before. Tang Heo grinned and came closer. Yu Yuanzhen's eyes immediately focused. What did you say? After Kan Zunji was seriously injured by me and died, the ultimate Douluo Kan Daoliu, who had retired for many years, came out to hunt me down many times. Tang Heo's eyes dropped slightly. The ultimate Douluo is indeed outrageously powerful. How is it possible? If Kan Daoliu went out to chase you personally, how could you still be alive? Yu Yuanzhen said in surprise. I thought it was just someone else's legend, but I didn't expect it to be true. The dignified level 99 extreme title Douluo didn't kill Tang Heo, an ordinary title Douluo? How can this be? Exclamation mark. You will soon know why. Tang Heo's eyes suddenly condensed, and his momentum burst out. Tang Lin Wang Xiaoshu has already left. I believe that with their magical methods, they will never be caught up. Next, they only need to educate Yu Yuanzhen, this stupid dragon, with peace of mind. Heoshan's magical skill, the great Sumeru hammer. Tang Heo was so powerful that he swung the clear sky hammer and hit Yu Yuanzhen's dragon body directly. Yu Yuanzhen's body trembled, covered with layers of dragon scales. He felt that Tang Heo's hammer was a little different from the previous ones, and seemed to be a little more powerful. It was incredible. Oh. After using 2 soul skills, Tang Heo's attack was still unable to be blocked. In the end, the clear sky hammer hit Yu Yuanzhen's dragon armor directly and violently. Severe pain was felt, and Yu Yuanzhen was shocked. Is it possible that Tang Heo can really defeat Kan Daoliu? This big Sumeru hammer is actually more powerful than the last. He didn't know that the great Sumeru hammer turned his own soul power and other powers into the purest strength and attack power, increased his power geometrically, forcibly broke through all constraints, and exerted a powerful strength that surpassed his own soul power. It is a route of defeating 10 guilds with one force. No matter how many soul skills and skills the opponent has, they will not be able to compete with the purest power and attack power of the clear sky hammer. This skill is called a magical skill. How can it be average in power? Even though Yu Yuanzhen's dragon body was strong, he was still in unbearable pain. After being hit several times in succession, he immediately escaped from the ground and flew into the sky, where he could perform best. Chapter 127. Look back. 5. The other side. Me, hold on tight to me, don't be afraid. Wang Shu jumped off the cliff and almost frightened Tang Mi. Fortunately, Tang Lin had given her a vaccination before, otherwise she would have been scared to tears at this moment. Tang Mi followed the plan and obediently buried her head deeply in Wang Shu's arms, not daring to open her eyes. Wang Shu just took Tang Mi and left directly from the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus family's martial arts performance hall in 1000 Vinegard. With Tang Heo around, Yu Yuanzhen had no choice but to watch them. Sneaking away under his nose, many strong men from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family simply didn't dare to provoke Wang Shu. Even the strong Soul Saint and Soul Emperor were killed by him. Wouldn't they be killed if they went up? Wang Shu kept speeding up. One end of the vine was connected to the nearby ginseng tree, and the other end was connected to the huge vine rope, forming a fulcrum for the wine good in the air. This felt like flying in the air. If Tang Lin hadn't come up with this idea, he would never use his skills like this in his life. The Contra members of the Landian family didn't know when they would wake up again, and the Contra experience card had a limited time, so Wang Shu did not dare to delay for a moment. After landing, he immediately ran quickly in the forest, strived to leave the sphere of influence of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family as soon as possible. He chose the forest route because his strength can be more perfectly displayed in the forest, and with Kai and Eng as a cover, his whereabouts will not be easily detected and tracked, even by the powerful Soul Saint Soul Douluo. Without certain tracking and detection capabilities, it would be difficult to find the traces left behind by his escape. Brother, look at Tang Lin. The energy under his feet is fluctuating extremely strongly and strangely. This must be the result of some foreign object, so he can run so fast. There are so many weird things about this kid. I just noticed that his soul power has dropped to the Soul Master level, but when I didn't find it, he suddenly turned into a Soul Saint's aura, and he can still hold on to this day. It's really annoying. Behind Tang Lin, there were many strong Soul Saints chasing after him, and they hated Tang Lin deeply. But Tang Lin was not worried at all. He escaped with ease and secretly calculated the time. Until now, he had held off so many strong men for almost half an hour. Why should Wang Shu leave Landian from another direction? Sect. It seems it's time to go back and see Uncle Heo. After all, Tang Heo was injured, and Tang Lin was always worried. Why do you guys keep chasing me? Tang Lin turned around, spread his hands and said helplessly, I'm not in a hurry to buy syrup. What? Everyone was a little confused. Tang Lin ignored them and muttered to the sound of the drum, Wang Shu should have taken me and fled to Heozong at this time. The voice was not loud, deliberately so that they could hear it. Everyone frowned and asked worriedly, is there really no problem with the saint? 3 or 4 soul saints, as well as more than 10 soul emperors and soul kings, are more than enough to deal with Tang Lin, not to mention his Kingshu, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with the saint. Yes, although the sect master is still fighting Heo Douluo, he is paying attention to the following situations. If there is any problem with the saint, the sect master will take care of it. We should not be distracted in any case. First, use all your strength to capture Tang Lin. Yuki is the head of the 10 elders. Others may not know how powerful Heo Douluo is, but he does. The so-called Heo Douluo is not the title Douluo with the highest soul power in the Heozang, but the title Douluo with the highest combat power. Since Tang Heo appeared, he has become as powerful as 3 Contra elders. In his hands, he is like a child, with no ability to fight back. Deep in his heart, he has completely believed what Tang Heo said before. Kayang Sunji's 95th level soul power is also there was no way he could compete with Tang Heo, who had just entered the title Douluo. Thinking of Tang Lin's previous deeds, Yuki suddenly felt an unpleasant feeling in his heart, and immediately frowned and said, no, we were tricked by Tang Lin. What? Tang Lin Z was only at the Soul Master level at first, and then suddenly rose to the Soul King level, and then to the Soul Emperor and Soul Saint level. And Wang Shu, when he fought with Xiangan, he was only at the Soul Master level, but when Xiang Chumo was fighting, his strength suddenly soared to the level of Soul King. We always thought that Wang Shu could only reach the Soul King level at most, so there were only 3 Soul Saints and several Soul Emperors and Soul Kings left. But we were wrong. If Wang Shu is like Tang Lin, he can perform where is a Soul Saint level strength? After hearing Yuki's analysis, everyone felt like they had been given a slap in the face by him, and they immediately figured out why Tang Lin left Wang Shu and the 2 of them behind and fled alone. Emotionally, all the words he used to slander and belittle the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus before escaping were just to anger everyone and then distract everyone so that Wang Shu could escape with the saint. But, isn't there still a sect leader? Yes, the sect leader has reached level 95 and can even use powerful skills such as dragon transformation. Could it be that? Yuki immediately stopped and shouted, no, you 3 stay and continue to chase Tang Lin Z. The others quickly follow me back to the sect. The most important thing now is the saint. Yes. Yuki immediately left 3 soul saints behind to continue chasing Tang Lin, and then led the rest of the powerful men back to the sect quickly. Tang Lin grinned. This group of people finally went back. They were really sweating just now. Although the Soul Saint experience card is effective for half an hour, it also consumes a lot of your body's soul power and energy. Being chased by so many Soul Saints, if you really catch up, wouldn't you be hung up and beaten by them? Although there are still 3 Soul Saints left, these 3 Soul Saints are just faster and not very strong. They chased him for half an hour. Their soul power was not exhausted, and their physical strength was gradually depleted, so the speed of tracking had obviously weakened. Tang Lin once again melted a Soul Saint experience card, and his speed exploded again. He took the 3 of them into the forest for a few laps, and then he quickly restrained his aura to avoid their pursuit. Finally, he changed direction and headed towards the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex. The family flies away. Okay, what about people? The 3 of them were immediately shocked. Tang Lin took this risk to return simply because he still had nearly 10 eternal diamond level lottery opportunities. If he was discovered by a strong man from the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, he would probably use them all. No matter what, he had to make sure that Tang Heo was safe before leaving with peace of mind. Otherwise he would not be able to explain to either Tang San or Heo Zan. Chapter 128. Big Sumeru Hammer, Exploding Ring, Repair. After Yuki returned to the sect with all the powerful men, he was almost stunned. As he had guessed, almost all the people who stayed behind were killed by Wang Shu. At this moment, they were lying on the ground and being rescued by everyone. The sect master failed to stop Wang Shu from leaving with the saint. He was not surprised. What surprised him even more was that Wang Shu was able to display contra-level strength. Almost all the strong men on the ground were defeated by him in an instant. Take control. He didn't waste any time. After asking the clan members present about Wang Shu's escape direction, he led his men and chased him out. The Great Elder and the Third Elder have gradually woken up, but when they saw that the sect had been reduced to ruins, they felt as if they were in a dream. Zeng's body was trembling, his eyes were staring at it, and it took him a long time to react. Third brother, follow me to recover the saint. I didn't expect Wang Shu to be able to display the strength of Contra. I'm afraid we won't be able to catch up with them. We still have to take action. After the elder learned the general situation, regardless of the shock, he said immediately, the saintess is of great importance, and the sect leader cannot leave now, so the huge responsibility can only be borne by them. Whoa. The 2 figures flew towards Wang Shu's escape direction again. When Tang Lin came back, he quietly hid in a nearby mountain peak. He happened to see the 2 elders leaving, and he immediately felt relieved. Just now, I was worried whether the 3 elders would be rescued, but there is no need to worry now. 2 of the 3 elders have left, and Yi Ran is still unconscious. The entire blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family seems to have no worries either. People can threaten him. As for Wang Shu, as long as he enters the forest according to his plan, it will be difficult for those people to track him. Moreover, when Wang Shu left, Tang Lin had considered the worst case scenario for him, so he doesn't need to worry about it at all. Look at the battle in the center again. It can be said to be shocking. Tang Heo and Yu Yuan were shaking in the air at extremely fast speeds. Each pair of punches and each swing of the hammer was so powerful that even the surrounding dark clouds and thunder and lightning would change accordingly. Tang Lindsay lived with me, and the master is his teacher, so for the sake of the master, I will not treat you the same way I treated Kan Zhengji. But I have lived with you. Not only do I want you to know, but I also want to let Wuhan Palace and the world know that I, Heo Douluo, am back. Anyone who bullies my Heo Zangman will bear my wrath. Tang Heo said solemnly. What a shameless statement. Yu Yuan Zhenlong moved with majestic momentum. I have already learned your most powerful killing move, the Great Sumeru Hammer. What other special skills can you come up with? If so, just use it. There is no need for other gorgeous moves. To deal with you, only one Bing Heo Hammer is enough. Now, I will let you experience what the real Heo Douluo is. Heo Hammer, mess with the cloak. Without the constraints of Tang Lin, Wang Shu and the others, Tang Heo could finally let go and have a fight. Facing the huge blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tang Heo swung the Heo hammer after hammer, constantly attacking the giant dragon. Yu Yuanzhen was not an easy person to deal with, and the force of the counterattack also overwhelmed Tang Heo Shan. But every time he received a blow, Yu Yuanzhen could feel its power getting stronger, so he would let out a low dragon roar. Even so, Yu Yuanzhen still chose to confront Tang Heo head-on. Because he refused to admit defeat, Heo Douluo was stronger than him. It's like not recognizing that the status of the first sect under Heo Zhang is superior to his blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. At this moment, all he wanted in his mind was to defeat Heo Douluo openly and rectify the name of the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Even Tang Heo must pay the price for what he has done now. We want talents like Tang Heo to disappear from here, and no one from Heo Zhang to be able to use powerful soul skills like the Great Sumeru Hammer from now on. Tang Heo! Yu Yuanzhen shouted violently, and the dragon's head immediately attacked Tang Heo. At the same time, the dragon's tail had already swung over, cutting off Tang Heo's retreat. However, Tang Heo remained unhurried, and swung the Heo hammer steadily. The 9981 hammer was finally completed at this moment. This last hammer seemed to condense all the power he had wielded before, and suddenly the domineering power of his body burst out. Exclamation mark. Boom. Hundreds of meters high in the sky, the Heo hammer slammed into the dragon's head. Even though Yu Yuanzhen was carrying several soul bones, he could not withstand the power of the hammer. He immediately screamed and fell from the sky, startling his Heo. However, Tang Heo still did not stop his offensive. The blue electric Tyrannosaurus is known as the No Beast Martial Soul, and its defensive power has reached an astonishing level, which is not an undeserved reputation. Moreover, Yu Yuanzhen is transformed into a dragon, not simply possessed by a martial spirit. His current, even if the defensive power is called the strongest in the world, I'm afraid it's not an exaggeration. So Tang Heo didn't take it lightly. While falling in the air, Yu Yuanzhen was still being beaten violently by Tang Heo constantly wielding the Heo hammer. Yu Yuanzhen was immediately miserable and furious at the same time. After transforming into a dragon, although the strength of his body has far exceeded that of others, his flexibility has dropped. I thought that my thunderous speed would definitely give me an advantage, but I never expected that Tang Heo's speed was no worse than mine. I really can't understand how Tang Heo, a titled Douluo of the Power Attack Department, could be so fast. He was almost as fast as a titled Douluo of the Agility Attack Department. Could it be that he was trained by being chased by Qian Daoliu and Wuhan Palace? In an instant, Yu Yuanzhen was knocked back to his original shape. After transforming into human bodies, the two began to stalemate. Tang Lin couldn't see the specific situation of the battle clearly from below. He could only judge the general situation of their battle based on the dark clouds, thunder and lightning, strong wind and heavy rain above his head. You are the first one who can bring me back to my original form from my dragon form. It's so satisfying. Really, I can make you even more happy. Tang Heo said coldly with the hammer standing at his feet. Ha ha ha. Everyone in the world knows that Heo Douluo is powerful. In the past, I only recognized Senior Tang Chen, but now, you are also included. To be honest, I'm a little reluctant to kill you. Yu Yuanzhen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, kill me, you are really not qualified enough. Tang Heo knew that Yu Yuanzhen should still retain some strength and killing moves, but similarly, he himself did not use all his strength. As Heo Douluo, Tang Heo has absolute confidence in defeating Yu Yuanzhen, even killing him. Although I don't know how powerful the level 99 extreme titled Douluo is, I know that it is difficult to compete with such a peerless master with your big Sumeru hammer. So, if you are really being chased by Qian Daoliu, and if you can still survive in his hands, there is only one explanation. Yu Yuanzhen smiled slightly. He did not use all his strength. After all, he is Qian Daoliu. Even if you kill his son, it is for a reason. He will not. I have to do my best to attack a junior like you, right? Tang Heo said coldly. Even if he suppresses his soul power to level 90, I'm afraid he won't be able to fight against you now. Don't you really want to know why I can survive in his hands several times? Next, let me tell you with practical actions. Until now, The two of them had slowly fallen from the sky and were on the mountain peak a few hundred meters away. The two of them were silent in unison, and the invisible momentum was slowly gathering. Even the dark clouds above them were covered by it. The two auras split into two halves, as if Sora had been slashed by someone. Tang Lin watched with concentration. He had never seen a battle of this level before. One of the reasons he rushed back was to take a look at this battle and see if he could learn from it in the future. Some of the people in the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family already showed horrified faces, and the space above their heads was divided into two parts. What is this concept? Suddenly, the 9 soul rings under Tang Heio's feet moved, and a pitch black Heio hammer appeared in his right hand. Then he just jumped lightly, rising to a height of several hundred meters with pure strength. And the mountain peak under his feet has been crushed by him. Yu Yuansen's face in the distance was gloomy, and his strong heart made him unwilling to be outdone. A dragon roar sounded, and he also jumped into the air. The intermission just now has passed. Next is the most important second half. The two will not hold back anymore, and will use their strong trump cards. Yu Yuansen, take my hammer, Zumiling. The 9 soul rings at Tang Heio's feet were yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 and red. The first 2 soul rings violently bright, then Tang Heio's body and Heio hammer seemed to merge into one, covered with thick yellow energy. It seemed like a simple hammer, but it was so powerful that even the surrounding air was constantly exploding. The 9th soul skill, the true dragon is born. Yu Yuansen immediately felt an inexplicable pressure and had a feeling of palpitations. Subconsciously, he felt as if he was being forced into a desperate situation by Tang Heio again. His body underwent huge changes in an instant, and he turned into a dragon again. Oh. Suddenly, there was an explosion in the sky, dark clouds mixed with white clouds, and they were suddenly stirred by this energy. With a simple strike of the hammer, Yu Yuansen was immediately knocked several hundred meters away, and the dragon couldn't help spitting out a few mouthfuls of old blood. How can that be? Yu Yuansen's big eyes bulged, and his heart was shocked. The hammer used by Tang Heio is no longer on the same level as the great Sumeru hammer used before. This is Heio Shen's skill, the ultimate secret of the great Sumeru hammer. Ring explosion. Each soul ring can be exploded once. After the ring is exploded, the power of the soul ring will be completely unleashed and instantly become its own power. It can be integrated into the attack to produce a power far beyond its original strength. Of course, when the ring is exploded, the higher the quality of the soul ring, the greater the effect point at this moment. Tang Heio had only blown up the first 200-year-old soul rings, and he could already use the 9th soul skill to send the jade element flying several hundred meters, causing countless injuries. This shows the power of the ring explosion. Tang Chen once said that this is a magical skill. I'm afraid that only when you reach the level of a god can you exert its true power. Of course, everything has to pay a price. This ring explosion is a desperate skill of the great Sumeru hammer. Each soul ring can launch an attack. When all the soul rings have passed through the explosion ring, the user himself will also become weak state. Moreover, it is extremely dangerous when the ring explodes. If one does not control well and cannot suppress the ability produced by the ring explosion, he may be swallowed by the energy of the ring explosion point. Therefore, this unique skill can only be practiced by Heio Douluo in the past generations in the Heio sect point, because without strong talent and deep foundation, using this unique skill is no different from committing suicide. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129. In the final decisive battle, Lang Dian was defeated. Yu Yuansen looked at Tang Heio in disbelief. The power of Tang Heio's move was truly unparalleled. It made all the bones in his body creak. Even now, his heart is still shaking. Compared with before, it is simply too powerful. They are completely different. However, the level 91 soul power could actually exert such terrifying power. It was only now that Yu Yuansen realized how powerful Tang Heio was, and it was only now that he showed deep fear. Thinking back to just now, if my dragon scale dragon armor hadn't been hard enough, and my strength and defense were strong enough, I might have been severely injured by this seemingly simple hammer. Tang Heo, the power of your strike is indeed very powerful, but Tang Heo's souls were obviously missing 2 yellow century-old soul rings. Yu Yuanzhen immediately captured this key information and said gloomily, use such a powerful soul skill seems to place a heavy burden on you. How many hammers can you swing? To deal with you, we don't need to swing many hammers. 3 hammers are enough. Tang Heo held the hammer in the air and said coldly, the cost of exploding the ring is huge. After using the Great Sumeru hammer to explode the rings, all the soul rings will disappear within 3 days, and only the soul power will remain. It takes 3 full days for the soul ring to gradually recover. After using the ring explosion once, the soul ring cannot be used again until at least 36 seconds have elapsed. Otherwise, there is a real danger of the soul ring being destroyed. Since you choose to use the ring explosion, you must fight quickly. 3 hammers is already the maximum. After all, ring explosion is not an ordinary skill that can be used at any time. Even as powerful as Tang Heo, he will not use ring explosion whenever he encounters a powerful opponent. He will only use ring explosion when facing a real threat to life and death. Will be used selectively. For example, facing Kaiang Sunji and Kaian Daoliu. As for Yu Yuanzhen, it was really because the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family had hurt the Heo clan members. He needed this battle to warn the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, as well as the Wuhan Palace and the world. Don't be ashamed. How could Tang Heo, who was also a dignified level 95 titled Douluo, only need 3 hammers to kill him? Yu Yuanzhen immediately shouted angrily. A terrifying light blue thunderbolt suddenly came out of his mouth, and it struck directly at Tang Heo at an extremely fast speed. The thick and long hairs at the corners of the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex's mouth are all spread out, and the dragon's eyes, which are bigger than a fist, are full of bloodshot eyes. At the same time, a huge phantom of dragon claws flew from outside, with flashes of thunder and lightning on several claws, which seemed to be involved in the entire giant thunder in the dark clouds. Tang Heo held the Heo hammer. His robes moved automatically without wind, and the power of Huang Huan was unparalleled. The Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex in front of him was like a bug in his eyes. It was not worthy of him to look at it. The souls it used skills seem to have no lethality in his eyes, so there is no need to care at all. Is this the bells and whistles of Lindsay? Tang Heo muttered. It wasn't until Yu Yuanzhen's attack was right in front of him that the soul rings on the soles of his feet began to light up. Purple, purple, and black, and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th soul rings exploded instantly. The pitch black Heo hammer instantly enlarged in size, changing from black to purple black. And Tang Heo's own body did the same, as if a real man and hammer merged into one. The blow just now was just a tickle for you, but this second blow will break your muscles and bones. The huge purple electric blue-tired dragon claw immediately touched Tang Heo. Tang Heo let out a low cry, picked up the Heo hammer with his right hand and struck hard, and the power suddenly exploded. The air exploded all around. The huge dragon claw phantom melted in an instant, like an egg against a stone when faced with Heo hammer. The blue thunder and lightning exploded when it encountered Heo hammer. The entire Heo hammer and Tang Heo were covered with thunder and lightning, and even the surroundings were filled with this terrifying electric aura. Tang Heo grinned, as if the thunder and lightning were tickling him. Heo hammer's offensive did not weaken at all. After breaking through all the soul skill obstacles, it directly hit Yu Yuanzhen's dragon body. Oh. The entire dragon body was immediately hammered down. At that moment, Yu Yuanzhen's eyes almost popped out. He had no idea that the power of this hammer would be nearly 10 times stronger than the first hammer just now. My own attacks were like child's play in front of this hammer. Cough cough cough. The dragon's mouth was bleeding, and more than a dozen of its keel bones had been broken. Yu Yuanzhen didn't stabilize his body until he was blasted into the ground. Fortunately, he finally changed into a human form, otherwise the impact would not only cause him more serious injuries, but also probably destroy half of the sect. Heo Douluo is so terrifying. 3 hammers. It was only at this moment that he slowly realized the gap between himself and Tang Heo. The Heo's Anke. Tang Heo's 3 hammers kept echoing in his mind. Thinking of the soul rings on the soles of Tang Heo's feet, He immediately realized that the power of this hammer was definitely related to the number of soul rings in the year. The first strike was nothing more than 200-year-old yellow soul rings, but the second strike was 2,000-year soul rings, plus a 10,000-year soul ring. Comparing these two, the power is naturally different. This nearly 10 times the power actually comes from this. I just blew up a 10,000-year soul ring and already I was beaten passively. I'm in such a miserable state. I didn't expect that there are such real masters in this world. It's so happy. It's so happy. Ha ha ha. Yu Yuan was shocked, as if he was crazy. He had forgotten the injuries and severe pain on his body, and looked at Tang Heo in the sky with bright eyes. It's such a pleasure, come again. Tang Heo, you still have one more strike. Let me teach you this last strike. Yu Yuanzhen instantly transformed into a dragon, and flew into the air. Yu Yuanzhen no longer cares about winning or losing at this moment. He no longer cares about gains and losses, face, or even pain. He only has one thought in his mind now, which is to fight. Tang Heo frowned slightly. Yu Yuanzhen's current state is the real fighting state. He has been hovering at level 95 for a long time. Maybe his battle with him will greatly promote his breakthrough. At that time, Yu Yuanzhen will break through to level 96, and his strength will more than double again. However, that has nothing to do with me. No matter how strong he is, if he offends himself for Heo Zhang, it will only take a few blows. The 6th, 7th, and 8th black 10,000-year level soul rings under Tang Heo's feet instantly lit up at the same time. This last strike, 3 10,000-year level soul rings, each of which is tens of thousands of years old, adds up to 10,000 plus years. The reverse power of this strike will definitely knock Yu Yuan to the ground. The remaining 10-year-old red soul ring was kept just in case. After all, this time it was not about fighting Yu Yuanzhen. Yu Yuanzhen used all his strength to open a path with powerful soul skills, and with lightning speed, he struck Tang Heo with his strongest blow. This blow will teach you how to behave. Never provoke people from Heo Zhang again. Tang Heo glanced at him coldly, and the Heo hammer in his hand suddenly grew bigger. It was actually one size larger than Yu Yuanzhen's dragon head. Tang Heo held the Heo hammer in both hands, exerted force out of thin air under his feet, and with a focused gaze, he used the majestic momentum of the carrier to blast towards the Yu Yuanzhen, which was approaching rapidly. Boom. The sky was filled with tyrannical aura and terrifying energy. The entire blue lightning tyrant dragon mountain gate sky was pitch black, with thunder and lightning rolling. Everyone seems to know that the two are in a decisive battle at this moment, and they all hold their heads high, expecting, hoping, and praying. Suddenly, a blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex fell from the dark clouds, and everyone was shocked. The sect leader was defeated. No, impossible. This is impossible. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's not true. Everyone can't believe this is true. From now on, anyone who bullies or harms our Heo Zhang sect will suffer the consequences like this. When everyone was still blank-minded, a steady, powerful, domineering word came from the air, a deep rebuke. It touches everyone's heart. Uncle Heo is mighty and domineering. Uncle Heo is awesome. Somewhere in the mountains, Tang Lin's face was filled with surprise and admiration. Chapter 130. Human Forbidden Zone Death Island. Tang Heo asked suddenly. Tang Lin already knew what he was thinking after just a moment's thought. Indeed, before entering Blood Moon City, he had to heal his second uncle's old and new injuries as much as possible. Tang Lin had read a lot of books about soul beasts, and combined with the effects of the spiritual meat he had obtained from licking soul beast boxes in the past few years, he naturally knew roughly what kind of soul beast essence and meat had what effects. Except for those soul beasts that are extinct on the mainland, I'm afraid that only the essence of powerful soul beasts like the black tortoise on the mainland can have a better therapeutic effect than the essence of the soul beast I currently have. However, basalt turtles are indeed extremely rare, but the meat of other higher level turtle soul beasts should also be fine. Tang Lin replied. The basalt turtle is indeed the best choice at the moment, but the basalt turtle is extremely rare and has not appeared on the Douluo continent for many years. It may not even be possible that it has become extinct. Tang Heo closed his eyes and fell into deep thought. The Zuanwu turtle is too hard to find, and the ones that exist now are probably powerful ones that are tens of thousands of years old or above. Even if they are found, with the Zuanwu turtle's terrifying defense and attack power, it will probably take a lot of effort to capture it. A lot of effort, but if the gains outweigh the losses, even the only chance to rescue Tang Feng will be gone. Tang Lin also knows that there are probably only two ways now. One way is for the two of them to rush to Blood Moon City immediately to recharge their batteries, and then let Tang Heo eat the soul beast essence and meat he currently has every day. After eating for a month, he may recover. He reached less than 50.00% of his peak state, and then rescued his father, but the probability of being rescued was very low. One way is to spend time and energy to go to the Soul Beast Forest, to find better Soul Beast essence and meat, restore it to a better or even peak state, and then rescue it with a very high probability. But choosing this path is accompanied by high risks, because the gains may outweigh the losses. Not only will the results be lost, but the recovery will be even lower, and it may even cause Tang Heo to be more seriously injured. The probability of rescue as a result is almost zero. Faced with these two choices, each has its own advantages. Follow me. Suddenly, Tang Heo seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly opened his eyes and said. Tang Lin smiled. It seemed that Uncle Heo had chosen the second path. He also knew that Wuhan Palace obviously wanted to lure him there. If he didn't find a way to restore himself to his peak state, going there would undoubtedly be a trap. That is the Wuhan Palace after all. But Tang Lin also has his own trump card. If the final result is not satisfactory, he will probably think of other ways. If you encounter a powerful soul beast, you can still escape, even if you can't defeat it. Turtle soul beasts are rare. Even the Zuanshu turtle is extremely rare. As for the Zuanwu turtle, I don't even know if there are any more in this world, but I know a place where there is a 10-year-old turtle. Turtle spirit beast. Tang Heo said to Tang Lin, but his words could no longer conceal his inner joy. Tang Lin suddenly felt that this trip might bring unexpected rewards. As long as a 10-year-old tortoise soul beast was not a black turtle or a black water turtle, its attack power would not be that powerful. He was confident that together with his second uncle, he will definitely be able to harvest it. Where is there a 10-year-old tortoise soul beast? Is it the center of the Star Forest? Tang Lin was also a little curious about the place Tang Heo mentioned, so he asked. No, it's a place called Death Island. Tang Heo said seriously. The Death Island is also a restricted area for humans, and its level of terror is no less than that of the Stardao Forest. At least, there are many soul masters operating in the Stardao Forest in its outer and middle areas, but on the Death Island, few soul masters dare to set foot therein. When I was young, my grandfather, your grandfather, once told me that there was a 10-year-old soul beast there, and its location was extremely hidden. He also said that when I grow up in the future, I will become a powerful, or when he inherits the Clear Sky sect, he will use that soul beast to be the last soul ring of my Clear Sky hammer. Tang Heo began to fall into the memories of his childhood. When he was a child, his grandfather could be said to be Tang Heo's idol. However, he later left the Haoshan sect, and for many years, there was no trace of him again. Tang Lin was slightly shocked. Grandpa, isn't that the peerless Douluo Tang Chen? Even Kyan Daoliu from Wuhan Palace is no match for him. But thinking of this, Tang Lin felt that something was wrong for no reason, but after thinking about it carefully, he couldn't figure out what was wrong. I don't know how long it took, but the two finally came to this forbidden area of humanity, the Island of Death. Looking from the outside, there are mostly dark element inside, and the environment is not as good as the Stardao Forest. We can't fly anymore. We have to go through this forest. After crossing another canyon, we should reach our destination. Just follow me. Tang Heo's face was slightly solemn. The Island of Death is no joke. With it in his current state, it would be very difficult to encounter a soul beast that could last even 10,000 years. Wait a minute. Tang Lin suddenly stopped, because when he came here, he had an inexplicable feeling of palpitations. Although this feeling passed away in a flash, he would never forget that moment. He knew that this was not an illusion. He has entered the Stardao Forest many times, and has never felt this way even once. You take a rest first, eat this pot of meat, and adjust your condition before we enter. While speaking, Tang Lin took out his shiny golden armor and quickly put it on. Tang Heo had been flying with him before, so he didn't use the golden armor, so his soul power and physical strength were hardly consumed. Tang Heo thought for a while and agreed. He turned around and saw Tang Lin's set of shiny golden armor. His eyes lit up again. Although he had seen it once before, it was just a mental observation. He had never experienced it up close. However, he didn't feel anything before, but after seeing it with his naked eyes, he instinctively felt that this golden armor was very unusual. If Tang Heo knew that this golden armor could withstand the strongest blow of a level 95 super titled Douluo, I don't know how surprised he would be. But he didn't have time to ask these questions. Even if he asked, he knew there would be no results, so he was too lazy to ask for trouble. He took the time to eat a pot of shook and abu beast broth, then sat down and quietly digestion. Next to him, Tang Lin made all preparations and sat quietly next to Tang Heo, waiting for him to absorb it and recover his physical and soul power. Although the road ahead is dangerous, he feels that it may not be an excellent training opportunity. Although it has only been less than a few days since I absorbed the 4th soul ring, my current situation is special. What I urgently need now is to improve my strength. Therefore, coming to the Death Island this time may be an opportunity to make myself stronger and make myself stronger. My soul power is more condensed and consistent, reaching my ideal state so that I can absorb the next soul ring as soon as possible and break through to the Soul King. Okay, let's go. At this time, Tang Heo finally finished absorbing it. Chapter 131. The sect leader is not in the sect? 2. After this incident in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family, the entire sect became dilapidated. Yu Shai and Qi, the top 10 elders, organized the manpower to start rest and reconstruction. People in the sect were panicked, and some people couldn't even believe that these things had really happened. The sect leader was injured, and the sect's future hope, the saint, was missing. Everyone is deeply afraid of Haoshan sect or Haoshan Douluo. The great elder and everyone chased the saint and Wang Xiaoshu out for several days before finally returning, but they found no trace of Wang Xiaoshu. The sect suddenly became distraught, and everyone was worried. Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu were already so difficult to deal with in their teens. What would happen if they truly grew up in a few years? The great elder knows that if this continues, it will be difficult for many people to cheer up again, and that is not possible. He immediately summoned everyone to the newly repaired martial arts performance venue. The sect has suffered this unprovoked disaster. We must not doubt our lives, or give up on ourselves. Although the enemies are strange and powerful, we should not be afraid of them. We are the proud Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus. We should work hard and practice hard. Fight for the future to avoid today's shame. After some impassioned encouragement, many people gradually clenched their fists, hatred rising in their chests, and the fire of hope seemed to be rekindled in their eyes. Put aside revenge in advance. The top priority is to find the saint. The saint is the future hope of my Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family. We must not give up on her and let others take her away. So starting from today, all in the sect anyone who has nothing important to do, should go down the mountain to the mainland to find the saint. This is also an experience for everyone. The great elder said again. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone's eyes became determined, and they answered loudly. Then, the great elder began to assign the other 2 contra-elders in the major affiliated family forces to lead teams down the mountain to find the saint on the mainland. Time flies, and half a month has passed. Tang Lin and others quietly left Notting City that night, and now they have arrived at the village where Haoshan sect stands. Mom, you guys wait for me here. I'll go to the sect first to ask the sect leader about dad, and then I'll pick you up. Based on the situation, Tang Lin said. Li Rao held Xiaomi and nodded. Tang Lin did not want to bring his mother, sister, and Wang Xiaoshu directly to the Haoshan sect. He felt that it would be appropriate for them to settle in the village in front of the sect for now. After all, Tang Lin didn't have that much trust in Haoshan sect. If the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family found this place and asked the Haoshan sect for millet, who knows if they would hand over the millet directly? Fortunately, Tang Feng would bring a lot of things back to the villagers every time he came back, so most of the villagers were welcoming and kind to Tang Lin, Li Rao and others. Put them here first, no problem at all. After settling Li Rao and the others, Tang Lin prepared to go to the sect. No one from the sect came to greet him, but he happened to meet a Soul Emperor named Tang Ji who was also returning to the sect, so the two became the same way. Tang Lin, I have an impression of you. The boy who was only half a year old at the time, has almost grown to be as tall as me only 4 years later. Tang Ji chatted with Tang Lin as he walked. Recommended reading / Tang Lin smiled and said nothing. As they chatted, Tang Lin realized that this Tang Ji was actually Tang Sen's biological brother, but the feeling about this man to Tang Lin was obviously different from that of Tang Senator. The two of them were soon in front of this steep mountain. Tang Lin recalled the first time he came here, 4 years ago. At that time, his father carried him and his sister to climb the mountain and cross the chain point. Now 4 years later, he is already a 3rd ring soul master, and as long as he wants, he can enter the 4th ring and become a soul master at any time. It's just that I have experience stuck in me now, and in order to absorb the soul ring of a higher year, so I'm not in a hurry to absorb the 4th soul ring and enter the soul sect realm. Why, you can't go up? Seeing Tang Lin staring blankly at the bare cliff in front of him, Tang Ji smiled and said, "It's okay, uncle, I'm here." Tang Lin shook his head and said with a helpless smile, "It's not that I can't go up. I just thought of the first time we came here, when Xiaomi and I were carried up by my father. At that time, I was so scared that my heart kept beating. But Xiaomi doesn't understand anything. He's laughing and laughing, and not afraid of anything." Oh. Tang Ji didn't believe it. He glanced over and joked, "Then you mean you can go up this cliff by yourself now? This cliff is the first step to climb up to the Haoshan sect. Soul masters with soul powers below level are almost unable to climb up. Even soul masters above level will find it difficult to climb up without a certain amount of courage. I haven't been on it before, but I used to climb cliffs like this in Notting City. I think there should be no problem," Tang Lin said. Tang Ji shook his head and didn't believe it at all. Tang Lin was only 10 years old. Not to mention whether he had the courage to go up, his strength alone was completely beyond his reach. Tang Lin didn't say anything and directly released the soul rings, yellow, purple, and black. The 3 soul rings instantly made Tang Lin's eyes widen. However, before he could be surprised, he saw Tang Lin easily jumping up the cliff, and in a moment, he had climbed to the mountainside without any effort. This. Tang Ji was surprised to have 3 soul rings at the age of 10, and one was a 10,000 year soul ring. He didn't expect Tang Lin to be able to climb this mountain so easily. He was deeply shocked. Then, the iron lock came over easily. Tang Ji followed Tang Lin all the way to the gate of the sect. Only then did Tang Ji look at Tang Lin in a daze, feeling a little dazed. "Uncle Ji, are you back?" Suddenly, a young man in his 20s came over and said carelessly, "Although the Haoshan sect has retreated from the world, it is not a closed sect. For example, it goes to surrounding cities to purchase needed items, goes to the forest to hunt soul beasts to obtain soul rings, etc. So some people usually go down the mountain to do things. Hey, is this little brother also from our sect? Why have I never seen him before?" he asked again. Only then did Tang Ji come back to his senses. I have seen him. He is Tang Feng's son, Tang Lin." Oh, it turns out to be Tang Lin's younger brother. "Who do I think you are? But you have grown up too fast. You have grown so tall in just 4 years, since we last met." The young man put his hand directly on Tang Lin. Shoulders, road. Tang Lin really wanted to say, "Do I know you well?" Back then, Tang Feng fought with Tang Sen, and the weak defeated the strong. People in the sect still talk about it to this day. However, his son Tang Lin awakened a useless martial soul pan, and couldn't even enter the sect's family tree. At the same time, it has also become a topic of private conversation among the tribesmen. Tang Lin therefore became a household name in the sect. Okay. Tang Lin came to see the sect leader for something important. You should take him to see the sect leader first. Tang Ji was obviously speechless for this young man. Sect master? But the sect master is not in the sect. The sect leader is not in the sect? Tang Lin and Tang Ji were surprised at the same time. Chapter 132. Undercurrent surges. Yes, the sect leader went out a few days ago and hasn't come back yet. The young man nodded seriously. Where did the sect leader go, and when will he come back? Tang Lin asked anxiously. How do I know this? How can anyone know the whereabouts of the sect master? Maybe he will come back tomorrow, or maybe he will come back a long time later. Okay, I have to go out on duty. The young man cupped his hands and said with a smile. Watching the young man leave, Tang Lin frowned tightly. For some reason, he always had a bad feeling, but he kept telling himself in his heart that maybe his father had returned to Notting City by now. Uncle G, can you take me to see the Great Elder, or other elders? Tang Lin looked at Tang Ji and said point. Although the sect leader is not in the sect, maybe the elders also know something about dad. The sect master once said that anyone in your family can go directly to see him, but those elders didn't say that, so you can't see the elders just because you want to. Tang Ji shook his head. Tang Lin nodded. Several elders should be practicing in seclusion now. It is true that they are not visible to anyone who wants to see them, but I know the third elder quite well. This time I went out to do something for the third elder. I have to reply now, so you can come with me. Seeing Tang Lin's disappointed look, Tang Ji suddenly laughed again. Tang Lin was immediately overjoyed. Thank you, Uncle Ji. Tang Lin followed Tang Ji to the residence of the third elder. As soon as he met Tang Lin, he couldn't help but ask about his father. Only then did he realize that the elders didn't know much about his father's specific task assignments. I'm afraid only the sect leader knows about this. However, the sect leader left the sect with the two elders a few days ago. He had no idea where he went, what he was going to do, and he didn't know when he would come back. According to what the third elder said, the sect leader and the others will not come back so soon this time. Currently, the great elder is in charge of the sect. Even the great elder does not know where the sect leader and the others have gone, and when they will come back. Tang Lin immediately felt that the matter might not be that simple. Without any time to say more, he said goodbye to the elder and returned to the village at the foot of the mountain. Mom, the sect leader's uncle just left the sect not long ago and is not in the sect. Maybe this matter may be related to dad's affairs. Anyway, I'm afraid I have to go to the Star Luo Empire. Tang Lin came back and immediately talked to Li Rao, briefly explaining the situation. Xiaomi has now become the target of the entire blue electric Tyrannosaurus family. It is safest for you to stay here. Li Rao suddenly looked worried. Don't worry, Mom. I believe Dad will be fine. I will definitely take care of myself when I go out this time, Tang Lin comforted. Then I'll go with you. Wang Xiaoxu said. No need, you can't help me if you follow me. Instead, you can help me if you stay. Tang Lin shook his head. Wang Xiaoxu suddenly felt a little eclipsed. He also knew that within a month, he would no longer be able to use those experience cards. So following Tang Lin would not only not help him, but would become a burden to him. But letting Tang Lin go alone, he felt somewhat uncomfortable. Tang Lin couldn't help but patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, what are you thinking about? What I mean is, let you stay and help me take care of Xiaomi and my mother, so that I can go with peace of mind. Xiaomi has awakened her martial spirit. You also know that she is not suitable to study in any school on the mainland now, and I don't feel comfortable leaving her to the Haotian sect. Point, you studied very well with the master at Notting College. I feel relieved to have you teach her. Do you understand what I mean? Wang Xiaoxu nodded heavily, smiled relieved, and said, then don't worry, I'm here. Brother. Xiaomi pulled Tang Lin's clothes at this time, his big eyes filled with tears. Tang Lin smiled softly and picked her up. Xiaomi, be good. From now on, you must listen to your mother and study hard with brother Xiaoxu. Brother is going to pick up daddy and go home. Do you understand? Tang Xiaomi said wiped away the tears that were about to fall and ran into her mother's arms, feeling sad and silent. Xiaolin, you have to be careful. Li Ju said. Mom, you don't have to worry about me. I've even broken through a sect as powerful as Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus. What do you have to worry about? Tang Lin said. Recommended reading / the villagers in the village are all grateful people. It is better for my mother to live here than in the sect. Tang Lin helplessly touched Tang Xiaomi's head, put some prepared things into the ring, threw them to Wang Xiaoshu, and left Haoshan sect. Nearly 2 months have passed since Tang Hao and Tang Lin caused trouble in the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex clan. Although the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family has tried their best to cover up, the fire can't be contained in the end now. The news that Haoshan Douluo reappeared in the world, causing trouble in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family, and injuring the level 95 leader Yu Yuanzhen has spread throughout the continent. As for other things, there are also different opinions in the Soul Master world, and various gossips are spreading. Star Luo Empire, Nether Demon Sword Sect. Haoshan Douluo Tang Hao? He's not dead yet? When Ni Yuan, the leader of the Underworld Sword Sect, heard the news about Tang Hao, his face was full of disbelief. A man who killed the Pope and was hunted by Wuhan Palace for so many years was still alive and dared to expose his whereabouts. He has only been in the title Douluo for 6 or 7 years, but he is not his opponent even after level 95 Yu Yuanzhen Lang transformed into a dragon. Ni Yuan frowned solemnly. Tang Hao besieged the previous sect leader and became famous in one battle, but many people did not know the true strength of him and the Pope. But now, even the level 95 Yu Yuanzhen was injured by him, and he had just entered the title ban. Douluo has only been in it for 6 years, which is enough to imagine Tang Hao's current strength. In fact, Ni Yuan and Tang Hao did not know each other, and there was no hatred in the past. However, after hearing the news about Tang Hao, they looked worried. That was because of what Tang Hao said in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family. From today on, come on, anyone who insults or hurts my Haoshan sect members will suffer like this. Wuhan City, the Pope's palace. What do you say about the Great Offering? Above the main hall, Pope Bibidang asked coldly. The Great Minister said that he no longer cares about worldly affairs. Bibidang frowned slightly, but then nodded and said, since the Great Priest is unwilling to take action, then you Guan, ghosts, it is up to you to resolve this matter. No matter what method is used, you must bring Tang Hao's body to me. Return. Yu Guan and Gui Mei below the main hall were slightly hesitant. Although they were arrogant, the fear of Tang Hao still existed deep in their hearts. When they looked at each other, they looked embarrassed, but in the end they still said yes. Bibidang could naturally see their worries, and immediately said, don't worry, Tang Hao has been scarred since the battle 6 years ago. Although he can seriously injure Yu Yuanzhen now, Yu Yuanzhen can, it's not a good thing, so Tang Hao can't be intact. He must also be seriously injured. This time, you took all 3 more elders, and you must do everything possible to get rid of him. Haoshan Douluo's combat power is too terrifying. Others don't know how powerful Khan Zunji was back then, but she knows that, even though Khan Zunji is as powerful as Tang Hao, who has just entered the title Douluo, he is no match for Tang Hao. Therefore, Tang Hao must get rid of it as soon as possible. Yu Guan Gui Mei and the 2 can use martial soul fusion skills, plus 3 title Douluo and a group of powerful soul Douluo soul saints. With such a lineup, it is easy to take down a seriously injured Tang Hao. Yes. A sharp look flashed in the corners of the eyes of Yu Guan Ghost and Ghost. It's time to avenge that day's revenge. Chapter 133. The cause of the incident and the whereabouts of Tang Feng. After Tang Lin left Haoshan sect, he passed through Notting City and found no sign that his father had returned home, so he immediately rushed to the Star Luo Empire point. At this moment, he had no idea where to start looking. Flanders is still selling treasure armor in Xiandao City, and the relationship network in Soto City is just like that, which cannot be used at all. After much deliberation, the only option was to go to the Star Luo Empire royal family first. This was the simplest and crudest method. After all, my father almost always went out to visit the Star Luo Empire. / the other side. After Tang Xiao and the second elder left Haoshan sect, they also heard the rumors about Tang Hao along the way. I didn't expect my second brother to be so reckless. Tang Xiao couldn't help shaking his head after hearing this, but his expression could no longer hide his inner relief and joy. The second elder just frowned slightly and said nothing. They were not surprised at all that Tang Hao could defeat level 95 Yu Yuanzhen. After all, he was Haoshan Douluo. I just didn't expect that Tang Feng's children, Tang Lin and Tang Xiaomi, were among them. What's going on? If I remember correctly, Tang Lin is only about 10 years old, right? Tang Xiao asked doubtfully. At the age of 10, he has actually had 3 soul rings? Even if you have full innate soul power, you shouldn't do it so quickly. Rumor has it that Tang Lin only has 3 soul rings, a mere 3-ring soul master, but he can exert powerful strength at the level of a soul emperor or even a soul saint. Tang Xiao naturally didn't believe this, but when it came to having 3 soul rings, he was doubtful. Point after all, he knew Tang Lin was extraordinary when he awakened his martial soul power for Tang Lin. The second elder shook his head and said with a smile, "They are just some unfounded rumors. Not to mention, whether it is the Tang Lin boy, even if it is really him, it is impossible for the soul ring configuration of yellow, purple, and black to appear." Tang Xiao smiled and nodded. The second elder is the elder after all, so it is not easy to refute him. Second elder, Blood Moon City is almost here. Sect master, it's better for us to be careful and prudent. The second elder's eyes narrowed slightly, and he said seriously, "Second elder, don't worry. I know that the person's letter requested that I can come alone, so let's part ways. When we get to Blood Moon City, I will go into the city to get a feel for the situation, and then come over to discuss with the second elder." Ah. The second elder nodded and disappeared into the forest in a few jumps. Tang Xiao looked at Blood Moon City and couldn't help but clenched his fists. Blood Moon City was the capital of a country called the Blood Moon Kingdom a long time ago, but now it can only be regarded as a relatively prosperous big city in the Star Luo Empire. It is located on the border of the empire and has quite a strong military force. Blood Moon City, the main hall of Wuhan. In the dark and quiet stone room, a middle-aged man was tied to the center of the stone room by several iron chains. His clothes were torn and stained with blood. Blood was constantly flowing from his left shoulder, dripping on the wet floor, and making a regular tick-tock sound. If Tang Lin were here, he would definitely be furious, because this middle-aged man is his father Tang Feng, and Tang Feng's left arm has been chopped off. At this moment, he has passed out. It can be seen from the scars on his body that he was whipped and tortured inhumanely before he passed out months ago. Tang Feng accepted the task assigned to him by the sect leader Tang Xiao. Go to the Star Luo Empire and discuss with the Star Luo royal family about building weapons and armor. Originally everything went well, and he could rush back early to attend his daughter Xiaomi's Wuhan awakening ceremony, but on the way back, he encountered some troubles. In desperation, Tang Feng killed a person from the Wuhan palace. He was also chased by Ni Yuan, the leader of the Nether Demon Sword sect. Facing the level 87 Soul Douluo, Tang Feng was naturally at a loss, so during the battle, Ni Yuan cut off an arm and handed it over to the Spirit Hall of Blood Moon City. Because the Soul Master of the Wuhan Palace whom Tang Feng killed happened to be the biological brother of the Master of the Wuhan Palace in Blood Moon City, Tang Feng received cruel abuse from the Master as soon as he was sent there. The Master wanted to kill him directly. The younger brother took revenge, but he also knew that Tang Feng's identity was not simple, so he reported it to his superiors. Soon after, he received instructions from his superiors to use Tang Feng to lure the leader of the Haoshan sect out. Although the Haoshan sect has retreated into seclusion, and almost no one knows the location of their sect, Wuhan Palace still knows. The reason why the Wuhan Palace did not kill the Haoshan sect back then was all because of Qin Daoliu and Tang Chen. It's just an agreement. Today's Pope Bibi Dong happened to be planning to dominate the world, but at this time she learned about Tang Feng, so she made a plan to use Tang Feng to get rid of Tang Xiao too, because she knew that Tang Xiao was now Haoshan Zhang's only titled Douluo. Although he doesn't have much hope, it is still worth a try. It was only after Tang Xiao received the secret letter from the master of the Wuhan main hall in Blood Moon City that he quietly brought the second elder to rescue him. He knew that this was definitely Bibi Dong's idea. Otherwise, the master of the Wuhan main hall would not be qualified to dare to do this. Bibi Dong wanted to use Tang Feng to get rid of herself, but Bibi Dong probably didn't know that in the past few years, the people of the Haoshan sect have been practicing hard every day. Today, the Haoshan sect has more than one titled Douluo. The first elder and the second elder have successively broken through to the titled Douluo level in the past few years. Wuhan City, the Pope's Palace. Bibi Dong sat on the throne in the main hall. Thinking that he was about to get rid of the Haoshan Douluo of the Haoshan sect, he couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. If Tang Xiao can also come here for Tang Feng, it means that the Haoshan sect's strength has been exhausted. Bibi Dong couldn't help laughing when she thought of this, but thinking about it calmly, she felt that this was impossible. After all, Tang Xiao had even abandoned his own brother, so how could he come here for Tang Feng? How are they doing in Yuguen? Now, the most important thing is to get rid of Tang Hao quickly, while he is seriously injured. In the originally empty hall, as she asked a question, a figure suddenly appeared out of thin air. Elder Yiguan and the others haven't succeeded yet. Although they have already negotiated with the people of the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, neither they nor the people of the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family have found any clues about Haoshan Douluo. Trash. Bibi Dong was immediately furious. She thought that, even if she didn't succeed, she should still find some clues. Unexpectedly, she did not expect such a result. She immediately shouted, they were given so many people, and they didn't even have a seriously injured Tang. Can't Hao do find it? Tang Hao was seriously injured, and would not be able to run far, and he would definitely leave some traces during his escape. Yuguan and other 5 titled Douluo, plus so many masters from Wuhan Palace. This Linup is enough to hunt down 10-year-old soul beasts, but they still can't kill a seriously injured Tang Hao. Bibi Dong can't help but be angry. Bibi Dong thought for a while, and realized that this was not going to work, and immediately said, immediately release the news. I want everyone on the mainland to know that in 1 month, Wuhan Palace will execute Tang Feng, the remnant of Haoshan sect in Blood Moon City. Tang Feng didn't Hao say that no one can harm his people. I'm going to kill his people now, but I want to see if he dares to come. Bibi Dong didn't have much hope for Tang Xiao, and compared to Haoshan Douluo, Haoshan Douluo Tang Hao was the real threat to Wuhan Palace. If he was allowed to grow, he would definitely become the next Tang Chen. Therefore, the top priority is to solve Tang Hao's hidden danger. Chapter 134. The Xingluo royal family sells soul bones. At the same time as Bibi Dong issued the order, Tang Lin had already arrived at the foot of the Imperial Palace, the capital of the Star Luo Empire. Tang Lin knew that the Emperor's royal family of the Star Luo Empire belonged to the evil-eyed White Tiger clan. The martial spirit White Tiger was as famous as the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus, and was one of the top beast martial spirits. Before the Haoshan sect retired, they had many secret connections with the royal family, the evil-eyed White Tiger clan. Even now, there are still some relationships. The person who maintained this delicate relationship in the middle was his father, Tang Feng. Therefore, if his father is missing, it may be useful to find the Star Luo Empire royal family, but he is only a 10-year-old child. How can he get in so easily? But Tang Lin still thought of a way. Palace, back garden. There are small bridges and flowing water, and the garden is full of lotus flowers. The scenery is really pleasant. The young and handsome emperor is enjoying this beautiful scenery with a beautiful queen. Sudden, His Majesty the Emperor frowned, stopped and turned around with a slightly unhappy tone and said coldly, Musin, what is making you so busy? The eunuch Musin who was running over was most afraid of this stern majesty. He ran over in such a hurry that he forgot that he was not allowed to disturb His Majesty when he was admiring flowers. He immediately knelt down and broke out in a cold sweat. Please forgive me, Your Majesty. There is a reason for this. A person outside the palace gate said he wanted to meet His Majesty. Huh? Didn't you see that I'm admiring the flowers with the queen? Why don't you get out of here? Emperor Day said in a deep voice immediately. Today's servants are really becoming more and more undisciplined. Musin just spoke too quickly, and before he could finish his words, he swallowed a mouthful of saliva and then said, Your Majesty, Your Majesty. He said he wanted to sell you a piece of soul bone. What? Soul bone? Emperor Day and the Queen exclaimed at the same time when they heard this. Your Majesty, that boy said that he wants to meet Your Majesty and has soul bones to sell to Your Majesty. He is waiting outside the palace gate. His Majesty the Emperor and the Queen looked at each other. They knew that Musin would never dare to deceive them, but they were still a little unbelievable. What is the concept of soul bones? There is a price but no market. Soul masters often fight to the death for a piece of soul bone, even going so far as to start a war. That is what all soul masters dream of. After all, he is the head of a country. The emperor was the first to come to his senses. Have you ever asked what that man's name is? I don't know his name, but he looks like he is only 12 or 13 years old at most. He even took out a soul bone in front of us and said that if we don't see his majesty within an hour, he will leave. Only 11 or 12 years old? Dai Huang's face was covered with black lines. Aren't you kidding me? Can an 11 or 12-year-old child have such a thing as a soul bone? But when he heard what happened next, he couldn't help but become confused. I took out the soul bone in front of you? You want to see me within half an hour? It's interesting. Tang Feng had been missing for so long, so Tang Lin was naturally very anxious. So in order to see His Majesty the Emperor of the Star Luo Empire as soon as possible, Tang Lin directly took out a piece of soul bone as a bargaining chip. Your Majesty, how can an 11 or 12-year-old child have such a precious thing as a soul bone? You are not deliberately teasing Your Majesty, are you? The Queen couldn't help but shook her head and said, Your Majesty, the majestic leader of a country, summons a child alone. If you are being teased, why don't you want to be laughed at? What the Queen said makes sense. Emperor Dai nodded and said with a smile, but since Muzin said that he saw it with his own eyes, I have to believe it. If he really missed a soul bone and regretted not telling it for the rest of his life, that would be true. He will be laughed at for the rest of his life. Muzin, go immediately and take that boy to the Imperial study room to see me. Muzin immediately said yes and ran out quickly, fearing that he would be dealt with by His Majesty if he missed the time. Not long after, Tang Lin was respectfully led by Muzin from outside the palace gate to the Imperial study. His Majesty the Emperor was drinking tea and reading a book, waiting for Tang Lin in a leisurely manner. There was nothing important anyway, but he wanted to see who this person was. He could actually sell soul bones. Tap tap, rapid footsteps came, and the Emperor immediately put down the scroll in his hand, raised his eyes, and was surprised when he saw Tang Lin. He was indeed a handsome boy. Boy Tang Lin, please see Your Majesty. When Emperor Dai saw Tang Lin coming over, he looked at it carefully. As Muzin said, he was only 11 or 12 years old, maybe even younger. I just didn't expect that the soul power had reached the terrifying level. Instead of deliberately hiding his soul power and aura, Tang Lin deliberately released his soul power, so Emperor Dai knew it with just one look. Dai Huang's expression changed immediately, and he stared blankly for a moment. Is there really such a genius in the world? It's just a pervert. Oh, no gifts, no gifts. Your Majesty. Because he was worried about his father, Tang Lin had no more nonsense and immediately took out a soul bone. I'm here to sell the soul bone. This is really a soul bone. The soul bone exuded a charming luster, and the fluctuations in soul power attracted Dai Huang's expression. While he was shocked, he immediately showed an extremely greedy look, as if he wanted to take it over and take a closer look. However, the next moment, Tang Lin put it into his space backpack and said with a faint smile, Your Majesty, before discussing this business, I want to have a private chat with Your Majesty. Dai Huang was so thoughtful. He had already guessed that Tang Lin wanted to ask him for something, and he seemed to be in a hurry. Otherwise, who would sell his soul bones to him for no reason? Yes, I lost my composure just now. Muzin, you go down first. Emperor Dai immediately dismissed the others. Yes, Your Majesty. As soon as Muzin waved, all the maids and eunuchs in the palace immediately left. If you have anything to say, tell me quickly. His Majesty the Emperor can't wait any longer. Tang Lin didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Your Majesty should know Tang Feng, right? I want to know where he is now. Tang Feng. Emperor Dai was suddenly startled. The connection between the Star Luo Empire and the Haitian sect was a very confidential matter, let alone Tang Feng who walked between the two families. But the next moment, he figured it out. He was so shocked when he saw Tang Lin's soul power that he even forgot that his name was Tang Lin and his surname was Tang. Who are you to him? Clan people. Emperor Dai nodded and said, of course I know Tang Feng. We have met more than once. We have met some time ago, but now I really don't know where he is. Isn't he from your Haotian sect? He hasn't been home for a long time. When Daehuang heard this, his eyes suddenly condensed. What does this mean? He is missing. He is a powerful soul saint. Could it be that he was caught by people from Wuhan Palace? Don't worry, the Haotian sect will always be a friend of the Star Luo Empire. If something happens to him, I will naturally not ignore it. Emperor Day said seriously. Musin. Exist. Send my secret guards along all the routes Tang Feng has taken in the past, and be sure to find him as quickly as possible. Yes. Musin saluted, and immediately disappeared into the hall. Don't worry, as long as Tang Feng is still in the Xingluo Empire, I will definitely find out his whereabouts. Daehuang said. Tang Lin had been observing the situation secretly. Emperor Day nodded, as if he was faking his words, and said with cupped hands, "Thank you, Your Majesty. Next, let's talk about soul bones." Chapter 135, 1 million. Oh. I wonder how you plan to sell this soul bone, and how much it will cost? Upon hearing Tang Lin's words, Daehuang raised the corner of his mouth and immediately showed a fanatical look. It doesn't matter how much money it is to him, it's just a number. The soul bone is the most precious thing. Your Majesty, are you too impatient? Don't you want to let me sit down and have a good talk? Tang Lin didn't expect that the mention of soul bones would make the dignified Emperor Xingluo so excited that he couldn't help himself, so he couldn't help laughing. I was negligent. Emperor Day was stunned. Tang Lin was already very tall at a young age. Although he looked to be only 11 or 12 years old, it was obvious that he could no longer be treated as an ordinary child. Then he smiled and said, "Come forward and take your seat." His Majesty the Emperor poured a cup of tea for Tang Lin and pushed it over. I didn't expect that the Haotian sect would be so rich and willing to sell their soul bones. I think you are not just doing it for Tang Feng, right? Seeing Emperor Day pouring tea for him, Tang Lin was stunned for a moment and then felt a chill in his back. He really couldn't see what kind of majesty this majesty was. He originally came just for his father's business, but since the emperor said so, he did not refute, but nodded in agreement. Yes, but since the boy said that he will sell this soul bone to his majesty, then no matter what I won't break my promise. I just have one more thing I want to ask your majesty. Even if I go out to look for my father now, in the vast sea of people, I'm afraid there won't be any results. As the saying goes, I'll settle down when I come, so now it's better to sit here and wait for news from Emperor Day's secret guards. Oh, what's the matter? Daehuang looked at Tang Lin and asked, point thinking about the name Tang Lin. It seems familiar, but suddenly I can't remember it. I didn't expect that an 11 or 12-year-old child facing the king of his own country would show no fear and look calm, as if in the face of an ordinary businessman. The people of Haotian sect are indeed arrogant people, even children. Emperor Day couldn't help but look at Tang Lin with admiration. Tang Lin, your majesty just said that the Haotian sect is a friend of the Star Luo Empire. If something happens to Tang Feng, your majesty will not ignore it? Indeed so. Emperor Day looked at Tang Lin deeply. After all, Tang Feng was also the soul saint of Haotian sect, but Tang Lin called him by his first name from behind. However, Tang Lin didn't seem to be a person who didn't understand etiquette. This had to be done. Daehuang began to guess Tang Lin's identity. Moreover, Tang Lin was able to take out soul bones. He obviously had a distinguished status in the sect. Even if he was not the son of the sect leader, he should be the direct descendant of those elders. After receiving Emperor Day's answer, Tang Lin nodded and said, what if Tang Feng is caught by the people from Wuhan Palace? This is what Tang Lin is most worried about, or in other words, his worst premonition. His majesty was stunned again, but then he said truthfully, if he is really caught by the people of Wuhan Palace, I'm afraid there is nothing I can do. To be honest, Wuhan Palace is very powerful, and I will not follow them for Tang Feng. Even if you give me a piece of soul bone for nothing, it won't be possible for you to fall out. Emperor Day knew the relationship between Wuhan Palace and Haotian sect. If Tang Feng was really caught by people from Wuhan Palace, it would be almost impossible to survive. Maybe Haotian sect knew something, and now wants to use a piece of soul bone to help him go to Wuhan Palace to save people. This is obviously impossible. Although soul bones are precious, the Star Luo Empire is not willing to offend a spirit hall, just for the sake of friendship with a soul bone and the lonely Haoshan sect. Tang Lin didn't say anything. He just asked tentatively. He also knew this would be the result. Your Majesty. Tang Lin didn't mind that Emperor Day spoke so decisively. He smiled, took out a soul bone from his space backpack, and handed it to Emperor Day. This is an 8-year-old demon tiger's left arm soul. The bones are very suitable for your Majesty. Your Majesty, please take a look first. Day Huang's eyes suddenly lit up, but he still resisted taking it, looking indifferent. I have already said that, if Tang Feng is in the hands of Wuhan Palace, it is impossible for me to help you Haoshan sect with this favor. Are you sure you want to sell this soul bone to me? Your Majesty, don't worry. Since I said I would sell my soul bones to your Majesty, I will definitely sell them, Tang Lin said. It would also be good if a piece of soul bone could be given to the Haoshan sect or Tang Lin himself in exchange for the friendship of the Xingluo royal family. After all, soul bones were somewhat worthless to Tang Lin now. Moreover, Tang Lin didn't think he could get out alive if he didn't sell this soul bone to Emperor Day. That is a soul bone after all. Only then did Emperor Day take the soul bone from Tang Lin's hand. Although he had restrained himself, Tang Lin could still see that even Emperor Day was extremely uneasy at the moment. This soul bone is indeed very suitable for our evil-eyed white tiger clan. Boy Tang Lin, just make an offer. Tang Lin thought for a moment. He really didn't know how to price this. After all, he had never sold anything like soul bones before. 1,000 million gold soul coins. Is it too little? After all, this is something with a price but no market. Or is it billion? But money is not of much use to him now. Flanders sold him those treasure armors at several auction houses, which was enough for him to squander, and he also had some cooperation with those wealthy businessmen in Soto City, so he was not short of money at all. After thinking for a while, Tang Lin asked, Your Majesty plans to absorb this soul bone. How about a price for it? Emperor Day smiled, shook his head and said, I already have a soul bone in my left arm. Although I will not absorb this soul bone, its value is still incalculable. Let's do this. I will give you 6,000 for this soul bone. 10,000 gold soul coins. This gold medal is given to you. You can enter and leave the palace at any time in the future. As for Tang Feng, if he had not been captured by Wuhan Palace and Qiandao royal family, no matter where he is, I will get it back for you. He was caught by the people from Wuhan Palace, and I will let your Haoshan sect find out the whole story. How about it? Recommended reading / it is good. Tang Lin said immediately without any hesitation. No one will think that they have too much money. 6,000 million is not a small amount. Next, Tang Lin was arranged to live in the Xingluo Palace, where he was served everything delicious, but he had no such mood at all and kept practicing. Emperor Day also specially sent a titled Douluo who was good at tracking and investigation to find Tang Feng's whereabouts for Tang Lin. The news about Wuhan Palace spread so quickly that on the third day, the news about Tang Feng reached the Xingluo royal family. Only then did Emperor Day know that Tang Feng had really been caught by the people from Wuhan Palace, and he was more than Dang also wanted to use him to attract Tang Hao or other people from the Haoshan sect. Only then did Emperor Day think of Tang Lin. Isn't it Tang Lin who is rumored to be causing an uproar in the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? I thought this kid and Tang Hao were hiding from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, but they didn't expect that they would come to me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. After hearing the news about my father, I absorbed the 10,000-year dragon elephant Solar. Although there are many rumors circulating crazily, Tang Lin, a young boy in his teens, possesses 3 terrifying yellow, purple, and black soul rings, and his combat power is close to that of a soul emperor or even a soul saint. But for everyone who hears these rumors, they are just rumors after all. As long as they have not seen it with their own eyes, they will never believe it, and naturally Emperor Day will not believe it either. But Emperor Day believed that a large part of the things Tang Lin and Tang Hao caused in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family must be true. Thinking of this, his eyes flashed, and he instantly had a new understanding of Tang Lin. No wonder he could neither be humble nor arrogant in front of him at such a young age, and could even handle that soul bone. I originally thought that this was the intention of the Haitian sect to further develop its relationship with the Star Luo Empire, but now it seems that it is not that simple. Is this just Tang Heio's personal meaning? Did he already know that Tang Feng was in the hands of the Wuhan Palace, so he pretended to ask Tang Lin to bring this soul bone to me on behalf of the Haitian sect and sell it to me in the Star Luo Empire? In fact, he wanted me to help his Haitian sect and save Tang Feng. Wind? De Huan thought for a moment and finally shook his head. But thinking of these things, he grinned, smiling excitedly and playfully. No matter what, next, there will be another big drama going on in Douluo continent. While De Huan got the news, Tang Lin was practicing quietly in his room. From time to time, he would swallow ring beans to increase the age of his soul ring, thus increasing his strength. For some reason, he has always been upset since he learned that his father was missing. Only after he continued to improve his strength, he felt a little more at ease. At present, the soul crystals on his body have been used up. The soul crystals came from the Soul Master's box, so he doesn't have much of them. After absorbing them, even he himself doesn't know how much soul power he really has now. He only knows that he currently has his strength has reached a peak. Unless the soul bone is absorbed, or the next soul ring is absorbed. As for soul bones, of course he has to absorb the best soul bones, but the soul bones in his backpack are obviously not the best, so the next step is to absorb the soul rings. Just when he was thinking about whether to absorb a soul ring drawn in the lottery now, Emperor Day arrived. After De Huang learned the news about Tang Feng, he didn't think much and came to Tang Lin's residence. When he saw Tang Lin again, he frowned slightly because he felt that Tang Lin was different from the last time he saw him. It seemed that he was different again. A lot of progress. It's really strange. It's only been a few days. However, he quickly concealed this emotion and then went straight to the point and directly informed Tang Lin of Tang Feng's news. Tang Lin was relieved for no reason when he learned of his father's whereabouts. Although his father is now in the hands of Wuhan Palace and the situation is very bad, at least he now knows that his father is fine. Martial Soul Palace. After Emperor Day left, Tang Lin's face darkened. The Wuhan Palace is too powerful, and this time they plan to use Dad to lure Uncle Heo out. It seems that Bibi Dong thinks that Uncle Heo will be seriously injured after the battle with Yu Yuansun, and wants to take advantage of this moment to get rid of him. Tang Lin began to frown and think, if my father is fine elsewhere, but now he is caught by Wuhan Palace, they still want to use him to get rid of Uncle Heo. In this case, Blood Moon City will definitely be as strong as clouds, and it will be as difficult as climbing to the sky to rescue my father! Exclamation mark. I went to the Haitian sect before I came here, but the sect leader, Uncle Tang Ziro, and the second elder jointly left the Haitian sect. Could it be that this has something to do with my father? Bibi Dong wants to get rid of the Haitian sect leader as well. If this is the case, then the number of title Douluo sent to Blood Moon City by Wuhan Palace will probably be at least 5 or 6. And they will be stronger rather than weaker, just more. Thinking of this, Tang Lin couldn't help but have a headache. Now, if he uses the experience card, Soul Saint can almost be said to be completely worthy, and even can track and fight. But facing a titled Douluo, judging from the experience cards I have used during this period, I'm afraid that, even if I have a titled Douluo experience card, I will not be able to defeat a real titled Douluo. How to do? Exclamation mark. Tang Lin fell into deep thought. After a while, Tang Lin stopped thinking about this problem. No matter what he did, he would definitely go to Blood Moon City, so now is not the time to think about this. Now we have to improve our strength first. After improving your strength, the effect of using the Soul Saint or Contract experience card again will be different from before. The purpose of this experience card is that the stronger you are, the stronger your strength will be after using the experience card. Thinking of this, Tang Lin took out a soul ring from his backpack. This soul ring looks like a pill, and it is not obtained by killing the soul beast, but by drawing a lottery point. This is a 4-year-old dragon elephant soul ring. This is the first time I have absorbed a soul ring in my backpack, and I don't know what kind of soul skills I can get. After taking it out, Tang Lin swallowed it directly and started to absorb it. There are many soul rings and soul bones drawn in the lottery in his backpack, but so far, he has never absorbed any soul ring or soul bone produced by any system. Originally, with his current physical strength, it should have been easy to absorb this 4-year-old soul ring, but at this moment, he did have a serious look on his face, and beads of sweat were gradually appearing on his forehead. Time passed by. I don't know how much time passed, but a black soul ring suddenly appeared around Tang Lin. The next moment, there were 4 soul rings under his feet. Purple, purple, black, black, 4 soul rings. Because of eating ring beans, the first soul ring has turned into a purple 1000-year soul ring. At this moment, his face was covered with sweat, but he showed a smile. It is indeed a 10,000-year soul ring produced by the system. Not only is the body stronger, but it also seems to have grown a bit taller in an instant. Ding. Congratulations to the host for being promoted to the Soul Sect realm, and you will be rewarded with an Eternal Masonry level lottery. After hearing the system prompt, Tang Lin was immediately pleasantly surprised, immediately closed his eyes again, and started to look at his property panel. Host, Tang Lin. Soul Power, level 50. Gone for skills, the 3rd level of 18 beats in the circle, the 3rd level of flying to the ground box energy. 10,086 points. Backpack, Eternal Diamond level 10 lottery, 1 drop of pseudo dragon blood essence. Really? The Eternal Diamond level lottery has finally been accumulated to 10 times. I have been waiting for this day for so long. And, this day comes at the right time. Now he is struggling, because of his father's affairs, and now he finally sees a glimmer of hope. If you guessed correctly, there should be a title Douluo experience card in the Eternal Brick level lottery. If this is the case, at least I will have some confidence in rescuing my father. Chapter 137. Eternal Diamond level lottery. Star Luo Empire, Blood Moon City. This is a medium to large city in the Star Luo Empire. It is close to the Xiandao Empire and the Stardao Forest, so this city is full of all kinds of people. However, under the joint management of Wuhan Palace and Xingluo Empire, the order here is maintained very well. At this time, there was a tavern on the outskirts of Blood Moon City. Hey, have you all heard? The Haotian sect, the #1 sect in the world, that retired 4 years ago, actually started to appear on the mainland. No, this matter has been spread throughout the city a few days ago. I heard that someone from the Haotian sect killed one of the people in charge of Wuhan Palace. And it was near our Blood Moon City. Recommended reading / I heard that this person from the Haotian sect is extremely powerful. Even the people in the Wuhan Palace couldn't do anything to him. It took the leader of the Ming Demon Sword sect to take him down personally, and finally handed him over to the Wuhan Palace. Let me go. Is what you said true or false? Are you sure it was the Haotian sect, the former no sect in the world? How dare you kill people from the Spirit Hall? Some people were not in the city during this period, but had just returned from the Star Forest or other places, so they had never heard of these things. When they heard such exciting news, they immediately exploded. Some people feel sorry for him, but some people think that Hao Xianzang is such a man, he even dares to kill the big shots in Wuhan Palace. Of course, some people have expressed doubts. Is this done intentionally by Wuhan Palace for the world to see, so that they can take the opportunity to launch an attack, destroy the Haotian sect, and avenge the former pope? After all, the Haotian sect was forced to retire by the Wuhan Palace 4 years ago. This time, the people from the Haotian sect must have come out quietly. Logically speaking, it is impossible and dare not alert the people of the Wuhan Palace. Why? Instead, he killed the people from Wuhan Palace. If he kills him, he will kill him. How can he be caught by the people from Wuhan Palace? Real or fake? Doesn't this bring disaster to Haotian sect? In the tavern at this moment, there are many people, almost all in small groups, discussing Haotian sect and Wuhan Palace. In a corner on the first floor, a middle-aged man appeared to be eating and drinking in silence, but in fact, he was carefully listening to every word spoken by the people present. This person is Tang Zhao, who just entered Blood Moon City. At this time, he had just entered the city and didn't understand the situation. He didn't dare to go directly to the Wuhan Palace to inquire. He passed by the tavern and walked in directly, planning to start from here, but the results were unexpected. Hiss. Are all the people in the Haoshan sect so powerful? Why do you feel that if someone comes out, someone like the master of the Ming Demon Sword sect can stop him? He is indeed the best sect in the world. A drinking buddy has begun to worship Haoshan sect. Hush, be careful. That's just the past. If the masters of Wuhan Palace hear these words, I'm afraid they will suffer. Someone next to him immediately reminded him. Ahem, I know. The man didn't care point after all. This is just the outskirts of the city. Compared to the inside of the city, this tavern is considered remote. Why would the adults from the spirit hall come to a place like this? At this time, someone came and said meaningfully, I'm afraid you don't know yet. I entered the city a few days ago and there was another big news, and it was about the person who was arrested in the Haoshan sect. Oh, really? Come on, tell me. The Pope of Wuhan Palace has personally ordered that this sinner of Haoshan sect will be publicly executed 1 month later outside our Wuhan Palace in Blood Moon City. Now everyone in the city knows, but you don't even know? Hearing this, Tang Zio's pupils in the corner shrank slightly. Will Tang Feng be publicly executed in a month? And it was an order given by Bibi Dong himself. Tang Zio instinctively felt that this matter was not as simple as he thought. There is still 1 month left. We can only find out where Tang Feng is being held and then discuss countermeasures with the second elder. Tang Zio began to make calculations in his mind. Boss, check out. He continued to listen for a while and heard almost no new news, so he paid and planned to visit the city first. Star Luo Empire, Capital, Palace. System, Eternal Diamond level 10 draws. Time was running out, so Tang Lin didn't hesitate much at this moment and immediately started to draw the Eternal Diamond level 10 times in a row. Ding. The host uses the Eternal Diamond level 10 consecutive draws for the first time. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving a level 91 title Douluo experience card, a level 95 title Douluo experience card, a set of Shianai golden armor, a 7-year-old Scholar Flame Demon Phoenix Soul Ring, and an angel disguise. The first time I drew 10 consecutive draws, I won 5 prizes. This wasn't what surprised him the most. What surprised him the most was that there was actually a level 95 title Douluo experience card. You know, a level 95 title Douluo can be called a super Douluo, which is not the same concept as an ordinary title Douluo. Even in the entire Douluo continent, there are not many title Douluo of level 95 and above. Even the Wuhan Hall only has a few members in the Douluo Enshrinement Hall, and they directly take orders from Extreme Douluo Kai and Aoliu. Even the Pope of Wuhan Hall, Bibi Dang, has no right to call them. The level 95 and above Super Douluo in the Douluo Enshrinement Hall are basically aloof from worldly affairs. They will only come out if the Spirit Hall is in danger of being destroyed. This means that among the title Douluo coming to the Spirit Hall in Blood Moon City this time, there will basically be no title Douluo above level 95. Now that I have a level 95 experience card, I have another chip and chance of winning when I rescue my father. Before Tang Lin had time to be happy, the system continued to give explanations for each prize. Level 91 title Douluo experience card allows the user to instantly possess the strength of an ordinary level 91 title Douluo. The stronger the user is, the stronger the strength will be after using it. It lasts for half an hour. Level 95 title Douluo experience card. Shianai golden armor. It can withstand all attacks from title Douluo below level 95 and can withstand the full blow of a powerful level 95 title Douluo. After injecting soul power or soul crystals, it will have the form of flying wings and can fly in the air. Normally the speed is comparable to that of ordinary title Douluo. The 7-year-old Crimson Flame Demon Phoenix Soul Ring, an ancient alien super soul beast, possessing terrifying fire abilities. You can even gain some fire abilities after absorbing it. Angel's Disguise. After wearing it, you can change your breath and voice according to your heart's desire, hide your breath and soul power fluctuations, and even disguise your own martial spirit. It is an artifact that hides your identity and kills people. Tang Lin calmed down and thought for a moment. His father was now in the hands of Wuhan Palace. It was impossible for him to save him by himself, so he had to find help. Thinking of this, he took out the Xianai golden armor. Chapter 138. Goodbye Haoshan Douluo. The Xianai golden armor can not only fly in the air, but its speed is comparable to a titled Douluo. What he needs most now is time. Within a month, helper must be found. Of course, the Haoshan sect can't be counted on. Not to mention the distance. They have an agreement with Wuhan Palace and there is no way they can openly come to rescue his father. The only hope is second uncle Tang Hao. He can defeat the level 95 title Douluo Yuanzhen without being in peak condition. If he can let him recover a little bit, plus his experience card, he is equivalent to level 95 Super Douluo. As long as he arranges it properly, the rescue there is still hope. As soon as the Xianai golden armor appeared, it instantly emitted a bright light, and it felt like the entire room was covered in golden light. After a while, it felt a little better. But even so, it's too conspicuous when worn. Tang Lin took out another black cloak, slightly covering its light, and then flew directly into the air, flying quickly to Xiandao Empire, Notting City, and Holy Soul Village. It has only been 3 days since Wuhan Palace issued the order to execute his father. A small village like Holy Soul Village may not have received the news yet. Heaven Dao Empire, for Sino Province, Notting City. Only 3 days have passed since the Pope issued the order to execute Tang Feng, and the order has arrived at the Wuhan branch hall in Notting City. The palace master actually knew that Tang Feng had been in Notting City for so many years, but he was too lazy to take care of these things. After all, Tang Feng had already lived here before the Haoshan sect was forced to live in seclusion. Although the palace master was a little emotional, there was nothing he could do. He had to act according to the instructions above. According to the above instructions, this time not only is Haoshan sect at fault, Wuhan Palace is also going to use this to shock other sects and forces, letting everyone know the consequences of going against Wuhan Palace. Although the Wuhan branch in Notting City is smaller, the scope of their responsibility is not large, so the palace master immediately assigned the tasks and announced to the whole city that all villages, no matter how big or small, must implement them. It has to be said that Wuhandian's execution ability is not generally strong. At this rate, it will only take 10 days at most. I'm afraid that the entire Douluo continent will receive this news, no matter how big or small it is. 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. Fengzi, what do you think? Above the main hall, sitting in the main seat is a handsome young man. He is the leader of the Kibao glazed sect of the Shangsan sect, Ning Fengzi. On his right was Bone Douluo, and on his left was Sword Douluo. It was Sword Douluo who was asking questions at this moment. Ning Fengzi, the thinker, did not speak. Sword Douluo continued, every move of Wuhan Palace must have its own intention. Not long ago, Haoshan Douluo just defeated Yu Yuanzhen and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon family. It can be said that he's showing off his divine power. This battle reminded the world of Haoshan Douluo, who was about to take over as the Pope of Wuhan Palace, Qiang Zhongji, who was seriously injured and died. At the same time, it also won some relief and breathing opportunities for those affiliated forces of the former Haoshan sect who were often bullied and suppressed by Wuhan Palace and other minions. And Wuhan Palace announced the execution of Tang Feng, a disciple of the Haoshan sect, at this time. Obviously, it was to tell the world that even Haoshan Douluo, even the Haoshan sect, the #1 sect in the world, had caused the fate of Wuhan Palace. It won't be easy. Bone Douluo also nodded and said, I'm afraid this Tang Feng does have some status in the Haoshan sect. Ever since the new Pope Bibidang took office, every move she made has a profound meaning. This time, he openly executed the people of the Haoshan sect. If the people of the Haoshan sect come to save them, Wuhan Palace will definitely make it impossible for them to come. Reply. If we don't come to the rescue, the Wuhan Palace's reputation will increase again, and the Haoshan sect will also become a laughingstock. Sword Douluo frowned. The 3 upper sects were originally of the same spirit, and Wuhan Palace's suppression of the Haoshan sect made him happy. Now that they want to lure out the Haoshan sect's people and then get rid of them, he is naturally even more dissatisfied. Perhaps, Bibidang also wants to take this opportunity to get rid of Tang Hao. After all, Tang Heo just told the entire Douluo continent not long ago that if anyone touches his Haoshan sect people, he will not give up, right? And compared to Haoshai and Zhang, Haoshan Douluo is even more of a threat to Wuhan Palace. After all, he is not in the sect now, but has less ties to it. Moreover, he has only been absent for a few years, and has grown to a level 95 title Douluo. Even the title Douluo is no match for him. At this point, Bibi Dong must have also felt the pressure, right? At this time, Ning Fengzi, who was in charge, finally spoke. Having said this, Sword Douluo nodded, expressing his deep agreement. Others didn't know the difference between level 95 title Douluo and ordinary title Douluo, but as a super Douluo, he knew it clearly. It was now hard for him to imagine how an ordinary title Douluo could defeat a level 95 super Douluo. Anyway, no matter what, Wuhan Palace will probably win this round. Ning Fengzi shook his head with a solemn expression. Since Bibi Dong took office, various actions of Wuhan Palace have made all the major forces and the two major empires wary. The more powerful the Wuhan Palace is now, the worse it is for these forces. I hope that neither Haoshan sect nor Haoshan Douluo will take risks. Since Wuhan Palace can set up this situation, it must be fully prepared. Sword Douluo also agreed, and also expressed his gratitude to Haoshan. Zhang and Haoshan Douluo were worried. 2 days passed in a flash. Holy Spirit Village. This person is Tang Feng of the Haoshan sect. Some time ago in the Star Luo Empire, he killed a big shot in my spirit hall without any reason. He will be publicly executed in the Blood Moon City Spirit Main Hall in the Star Luo Empire 1 month later. At this moment, almost all the villagers of Holy Soul Village had gathered at the entrance of Wuhan Palace. It was Su Yunteo who came to announce the news and issued notices for the villagers to post them all over the village so that everyone would know. In the blacksmith shop, Tang Heo didn't care about outside matters. During this time, he was recovering from his injuries and rarely took on any work. Only when he encountered something that the villagers needed in particular, he would help them build it. Su Yunteo was impatient when he was sent to do this kind of thing. He didn't care if everyone was here. He just felt that people were almost there and started to make announcements. Then after finishing everything, he immediately left and rushed to the next village. The villagers discussed in 2s and 3s and dispersed. As soon as the villagers dispersed, a lightning-like figure suddenly fell from the sky, and then there was a bang on the ground, and a deep crack appeared. Finally reached. Tang Lin in the pit immediately took off his Shianai golden armor and put it into his space backpack. He felt everything familiar around him, and his tense mood felt inexplicably relieved. At the same time, Tang Heo, who had been keeping his eyes closed in the blacksmith shop room, suddenly opened his eyes. Although he doesn't care about outside matters, he was also paying attention here when Su Yunteo came just now. After all, he now has to face the pursuit of the Wuhan Palace and the Blow Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, so he is extra vigilant. But I didn't expect that this person who fell from the sky was actually Tang Lin. He was surprised by Tang Lin once again. It feels like every time I see Tang Lin, he will change a lot and make many unexpected actions. The villagers were attracted by the roar just now. When they looked back, they found no one, only deep pits and cracks in the ground. Chapter 139. Wuhan Palace, here I come. Second uncle, I'm here to see you. Seeing Tang Heo, Tang Lin felt very cordial and then said with a smile, "Huh, come to see me?" Tang Heo immediately rolled his eyes at Tang Lin. Every time this kid comes to see him, he doesn't do anything good except eating. He had just heard about Tang Feng from Su Yunteo, so he knew the purpose of Tang Lin coming to him. Tang Lin completely regarded him as a thug, so he didn't bother to give Tang Lin any good looks. But how could Tang Lin care about Tang Heo's face? He had been on the road for 2 consecutive days, from the Star Luo Empire Palace to here. His speed had reached its limit, and his physical and soul power were already overdrawn, so he soon took out the pan and put it directly on the stove. I felt like I was back at home and started cooking the animal meat. You must replenish your body before talking about it. During the period when he came back from the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus family, Tang Heo was recovering from his injuries almost every day because of the soul beast soul meat given by Tang Lin. Although he didn't have the blessing of Tang Lin's pan, he still recovered some. There is still almost a month left. Tang Lin had already thought about it on the way here. From now on, he must cook enough spiritual meat for Uncle Heo for 5 or 6 meals every day to replenish his body and let him recover quickly. Exclamation mark. Of course, Tang Lin also knew that Tang Heo had been severely traumatized in the battle with Khan Zunji in the powerful Wuhan temple many years ago. Although Tang Lin later gave him some spiritual beast meat to nourish his body from time to time, but that's all. Later, he defeated the level 95 Super Douluo Yu Yuansen, so Tang Heo's current physical condition can be said to be very poor. Although it is not as serious as Bibidang expected, it is not that Tang Lin can recover him in a month. Tang Lin knows this very well, but he knows that, as long as Tang Heo knows about his father, he will definitely go there when the time comes. So what he has to do now is to help Tang Heo recover as much as possible. Time flies so fast, and in the blink of an eye, a pot of rich spiritual meat has been cooked, and the fragrant smell that makes people swallow their mouths has already permeated the entire house. Tang Heo remained calm on the surface, but he was already drooling in his heart. Second uncle, dinner is ready. Yeah. Tang Heo was dumbfounded when he saw Tang Lin making a huge pot, but he still responded calmly, pretending to be calm. Second uncle, you need to eat more. This is the essence of the black turtle. It can not only strengthen your body and extend your life, but it can also heal physical injuries and restore your physical state. Your current physical condition is not optimistic, so you must eat more. Tang Lin said with a smile. Tang Heo has always been curious about why the food cooked in Tang Lin's pan is always so unique, but now is not the time to pursue this. Facing the Wuhan palace, he also feels the pressure, so he must recover his body as soon as possible. Recover as much as you can. After all, his brother is still waiting for him to rescue him. Thinking of this, Tang Heo stopped being polite and immediately sat down to eat. Second uncle, how are you? Seeing that Tang Heo swallowed a large bowl in one gulp, Tang Lin stared at him and asked. Yeah. Tang Heo nodded and said calmly, not bad, it's improved again. It's delicious. Although he said it calmly, this time Tang Lin's spirit turtle meat surprised him again. After each mouthful of soup, his body felt warm instantly. He could clearly feel that the damaged parts of his body were being repaired. He had also eaten this spirit turtle essence meat, and it was also cooked for him by Tang Lin himself. Not long ago, at that time, this essence meat did not have such obvious effects at all. The current effect can be said to be several times that of before. How long has it been since? In fact, this was all due to Tang Lin's improvement in strength. After absorbing the 4th soul ring, his soul power directly reached level, but not only his soul power, physical fitness, but also the various functions of the pan were improved. Also got a good improvement. Tang Heo looked at Tang Lin with a smile again. His soul power was already a level. It was only level before. How could it improve so quickly? There are so many mysteries about Tang Lin. But every time he asked, this kid said that he was the one chosen one among 10,000. These were all basic operations. This made Tang Heo speechless. Sometimes he really had the urge to shoot Tang Lin to death. Soon, the meal was over. Tang Lin still underestimated Tang Heo's appetite. He thought that such a big pot of stew would be enough for him to eat for 4 or 5 meals, but he ended up eating half of it. At this moment, Tang Heo felt that his whole body was full of strength. His groggy eyes became brighter, and his body felt warm and comfortable. He immediately closed his eyes and sat down to digest this. Half an hour passed, and Tang Heo was still recovering silently. However, only half an hour passed, and at this moment, Tang Lin had already returned to his peak state. If an ordinary person is overdrawn in terms of soul power and volume, no matter what, it will take at least a day or two to return to peak condition. However, after eating this pot of meat, Tang Lin had already returned to peak condition in less than half an hour. Exclamation mark. You can imagine how powerful the healing power of this pot of meat is, and this is even before it is fully absorbed. Okay, let's go. Not long after, Tang Heo also opened his eyes. When he spoke with infinite domineering force. It felt like his whole spirit had changed. Tang Lin was momentarily confused. Blood Moon City, Wuhan Palace. Tang Heo said solemnly again. At this moment, Tang Lin finally knew where Tang Heo was going, and he was suddenly moved. But he would not say any words of thanks. Just like Tang Heo, he had never said any words of thanks to them, because although he was expelled from the sect, they were a family. Recommended reading / okay. Tang Lin clenched his fists and nodded heavily. The two simply cleaned up and walked out of the house. When the sun shone on Tang Heo's disheveled head, Tang Heo's eyes became darker. He slowly turned his head, looked in the direction of Wuhan Palace, and said in his heart, Martial Soul Palace, I'm here. Time was running out. After arriving here from Tang Lin, only an hour or two passed before he set off again. He and Tang Heo were about to head to the final destination of their trip, Blood Moon City. Xiaolin, what kind of soul beast essence and meat in our Douluo continent do you think is most helpful in treating my injuries? Tang Heo suddenly asked. But Tang Heo is not a reckless man. He knows that with his current physical condition, if he goes to rescue Tang Feng, not only will he not be able to rescue him, but he will be forced into a desperate situation. What happened 6 years ago, he didn't want to happen again. Chapter 141. Looking for the 10,000-year level soul beast. This island of death is no different from other soul beast forests. It can be said to be one of the most dangerous soul beast gathering places. You have to follow me closely. Of course, I will slow down, but after entering it, you must not do anything to yourself at will. You are curious about what you see. You must know that many people who entered the island of death were unable to leave the island in the end because of curiosity. Tang Heo reminded. Tang Lin looked solemn and nodded. This place is indeed very dangerous. The second uncle must have been here more than once, so he is relatively familiar with it. It is natural to listen to him. Second uncle, time waits for no one. Let's hurry up and hurry up. You don't have to slow down to take care of me. I can keep up. Tang Lin thought for a while and said again. Time is very precious now. The sooner you find that turtle, the sooner you can regain your strength. Okay. Tang Heo couldn't help but be surprised when he heard Tang Lin's words. If someone else said that, he would definitely think that the other person was joking, but he knew that Tang Lin was not joking with him. Haha, interesting. Tang Heo has long been accustomed to Tang Lin's anomaly. He was not polite and immediately ran towards the forest at his normal speed. Tang Lin grinned. He had experienced the speed of this armor before. He immediately poured all his soul power into it and ran after Tang Heo's pace. On such a huge island, two figures quickly shuttled between the forests. Tang Heo was surprised at first. Later, he also wanted to see how long Tang Lin could last. However, half a day passed, and Tang Lin was always behind him, not even breathing. This made Tang Heo start to feel depressed. Could it be that this boy's soul power and physical strength are unlimited? Tang Lin's physical and soul power is naturally not unlimited. However, he has something called an experience card. Once used, it will restore himself to the peak state of that level. Therefore, even if Tang Heo's current physical and soul power they are all consumed, but Tang Lin is equivalent to none. When he rushed to the Holy Soul Village from the Star Luo Empire, the reason why he did not use the experience card was because he had just absorbed the soul ring, and he had to take advantage of that opportunity to cultivate his soul power, so he used his soul power to fly at that time. But now it's different. There are many dangers here. He even felt a kind of heart palpitations before, so he didn't use his soul power at all, but used the experience card. Tang Heo has almost become numb to Tang Lin. Even if Tang Lin does something unbelievable somewhere now, he is no longer surprised in his eyes. After all, it is Tang Lin. After half a day of driving quickly, they crossed the forest and came to a canyon. The waterfall here seems to fall from the sky, and the trees beside the waterfall are lush and leafy. Compared with the dark and depressing forest, the scenery in front of you is more refreshing and refreshing. Point recommended reading / the canyon in front is nice. It's a good place for practice. Tang Lin said with emotion as he looked at the scenery in front of him. According to what Grandpa told me, after passing this canyon, we will reach the real Death Island. The soul beast should be there. I hope our trip will not be in vain. Tang Heo stopped and said muttered. Next, we have to collect our soul power and cover it with your armor and cloak. It is good. When I came here, I did feel a bit of pressure. This was the aura of a strong man. This meant that this island of death probably had more than one 10-year-old soul beast. Tang Lin was also able to feel a trace of soul power and aura because he had practiced powerful techniques produced by systems such as flying the earth technique, and Tang Heo had already felt it due to his own strong strength. In Tang Heo's current situation, it would be very difficult for him to encounter a 10-year-old spirit beast with a little counter-attack ability, and he might not be able to defeat it. However, this is only possible if it is a tortoise soul beast, because most of the tortoise soul beasts have extremely strong defense and relatively weak or even very weak attack power. Putting on the cloaks, the two of them jumped down and ran towards the direction pointed by Tang Heo. Although the speed was not as fast as before when the soul power was fully activated, the title Douluo, even if he did not use all his strength, his normal speed was extremely quick. About a day later, the sea could be seen in the distance. Many large and small islands were hanging on the sea. The sky was dark and dark clouds were floating in the sky. Tang Heo suddenly stopped, and Tang Lin also stopped. "Come down. Are we here?" Tang Lin looked around cautiously. "Yeah." Tang Heo looked ahead and replied, "Point, it's exactly what Grandpa said here. The weather seems to be always dark, and the canyons and forests seem to form three different environments. There seems to be no aura of high-level soul beasts nearby. We came all the way and didn't find any high-level soul beasts around, let alone 10-year-old soul beasts. But why is there always a strong pressure permeating this place of death? The island is really strange." Tang Heo frowned and muttered to himself. It stands to reason that, if you feel this level of pressure, although it is very weak, it must be coming from a 10-year-old soul beast, and there is not just one, but at least 3. So where are these soul beasts hiding? Tang Lin heard Tang Heo's muttering, and was also a little confused. The strongest soul beast they saw along the way was only a 3-year-old soul beast. As for the more powerful soul beasts that were more than 3 years old, I haven't seen one, and there seems to be no trace of soul beast activity in a large area around their current location. Maybe it's because this is the place with the strongest pressure, and weak soul beasts don't dare to stay here. After all, soul beasts are more sensitive to the breath and pressure of soul beasts. He and Tang Heo don't. How can you feel it? But the soul beast can. Soon, the two came to the beach and searched for a long time, but they still found nothing. Tang Lin began to doubt whether there were really 10-year-old turtles here, but Tang Heo did not give up because he knew Tang Chen would not lie to him. It's exactly what Grandpa said. Even a super titled Douluo can't find this soul beast. Not to mention searching. If Tang Chen hadn't told him once, even if he could come here, he wouldn't have thought that a 10-year-old soul beast would be used here. Feeling the weak pressure, but unable to find the soul beast, Tang Heo not only did not get discouraged, but became even more convinced that there must be a 10-year-old soul beast nearby. Because if a soul beast below the 10-year-old level released such pressure nearby, it would not be able to escape the perception of his title Douluo. Time is running out. Since I can't find you, I have to ask you to come to me. After thinking for a moment, Tang Heo suddenly released his clear sky hammer. Chapter 142. Shocking change. This is not just a 10,000-year level soul beast. Seeing Tang Heo directly use the clear sky hammer without any warning, Tang Lin suddenly had a bad feeling. Zhao Lin, step back. Tang Lin. Sure enough, it was the same as what I thought. The next moment, Tang Lin saw Tang Heo directly releasing the powerful aura of his title Douluo boom. The surrounding wind suddenly rose, and he instantly gathered his soul power and flew into the air. The ink black clear sky hammer fell directly from the sky like a huge meteor and crashed into the sea level. Boom. Accompanied by the sound of waves and a huge roar, huge soul power fluctuations invaded in all directions instantly. Tang Lin was a little confused. He looked at Tang Heo in the sky in disbelief, and then looked at the depths of the Death Island, and seemed to have thought of something. What a terrible thing. My scalp went numb instantly. This is the island of death. Comparable to the Stardao Forest, even scarier than the Stardao Great Forest. He actually made such a high-profile appearance. What if all the powerful spirit beasts from this dead island are attracted to me? I'm afraid I won't be able to escape by then. Is this second uncle out of his mind? Of course, Tang Heo was not twitchy. He had his reasons for doing this. Tang Lin didn't understand Death Island, but Tang Heo did. There were indeed many powerful spirit beasts here, but most of them were extremely vicious. All the spirit beasts have their own territory. As the saying goes, there is no room for two tigers in one mountain. They will never allow other powerful spirit beasts to appear on their territory. Therefore, if he makes such a big noise, even if other powerful soul beasts feel it, they will not care, let alone rush over, unless they are many times stronger than this 10-year-old soul beast here. However, the 10-year-old soul beast is already powerful enough, so if nothing unexpected happens, no other soul beast will come. Of course, he is always paying attention to the surroundings, just in case other soul beasts really come. HMPH, why don't you show up yet? Tang Heo observed in the air for a moment. It was almost the same as before, but he still couldn't feel anything. Since you can endure it so much, then you can continue to endure it. Suddenly, Tang Heo looked at several dim islands nearby, then slowly walked over in the air, and continued, "It just so happens that I haven't practiced my hammering skills for a long time. This is an excellent training ground." After saying that, he was very crisp and clear, and immediately swung the huge clear sky hammer, appeared above an island in an instant, and smashed the clear sky hammer down with both hands. Heoshan's special skill, Lingshan Strike. Tang Lin was really confused. He thought Tang Heolei's hammer just now had the same meaning, but he didn't expect that the next moment he saw him hit a small island next to him with another hammer. Does he think the movement he made is too small to attract all the high-level soul beasts? Tang Lin almost cried. He has always had a natural sense of trust in Tang Heo, but now he really doubts himself. He feels that he should start to review himself now. I don't know how many rounds of hammering an island has successfully disappeared from the sea, and then the next one. Tang Heo looked like he was enjoying himself, and Tang Lin could tell that he was indeed practicing his soul skills. Some small islands will disappear directly with one hammer, while larger ones will require more hammers. Seeing that no powerful soul beasts were attracted by the movement here, Tang Lin began to feel less worried. Taking advantage of this moment, he took out the pot and prepared to cook another pot of Shukwan Tang Lin meat. I do not know how long it has been. An extremely powerful force, so powerful that it is suffocating. The palpitating breath comes from the distant sea level. Tang Lin immediately packed up his things and instantly appeared next to Tang Heo in the air. At this moment, Tang Heo was also looking at the place where the aura came from with a solemn expression. For some reason, both of them had a bad premonition. Tang Lin finally understood why he suddenly had heart palpitations when he first entered the island of death. Tang Heo led Tang Lin and began to retreat slowly. The aura was like a lion that had just awakened. With the pressure, the aura became stronger and stronger, and the expressions on their faces became more solemn. With such a powerful aura, this soul beast is definitely not the soul beast we imagined. Be ready at any time and leave immediately if something goes wrong, Tang Heo said through a message. Before Tang Lin had time to respond, suddenly, a voice from the distance sounded like someone who had just woken up from a long sleep. "Human, how dare you disturb my rest and destroy my territory?" This voice was old and cold, and at the same time it carried a coercion, attacking Tang Heo and the two of them. Thunder and lightning flashed in the sky, and from time to time a thunder struck the sea level, causing the sea level to flash with purple-black thunder and lightning. Tang Heo stared ahead coldly. He had never seen a 10-year-old soul beast before, but this time, before this one appeared, he had already deeply felt its power. How about we leave first? The level 91 title Douluo experience card had already appeared in Tang Lin's hand. If he was not prepared, he would use it immediately and then run away. Because the aura of this soul beast is too powerful, far away. The seawater began to roll continuously, rising layer by layer, as if something huge was coming from a distance. If you look carefully, you can see that a small island is rising slowly further away. Tang Lin and the others suddenly frowned, and their expressions became more solemn. After the island rose to a certain height above the sea level, it suddenly stopped, and then shook for a while. Countless gravels on the island fell down. Tang Lin's scalp felt numb when he saw it. At this moment, Tang Heo had already pulled him back to a higher level. Further away, At this moment, they finally saw clearly that the small island was suspended in midair, and behind it there was an island several times larger than it, which was slowly shaking. No way, is there such a huge turtle here? Tang Lin blurted out in disbelief. Looking at the two islands below from their current position, they can just see the whole picture. This is exactly a 521 huge turtle. He also knew a lot about turtle soul beasts, but the one in front of him was definitely not a black turtle, not a black water turtle, and certainly not any turtle soul beast that he knew about. Quickly retreat, this is not just a 10-year-old soul beast, Tang Heo said in a deep voice. However, at this moment, two huge stone eyes on the floating island opened and looked at Tang Heo in the air. At the same time, they opened their mouths slightly and uttered human words. Want to leave? A powerful pressure without skin burst out simultaneously with his voice. Tang Lin had already used the title Douluo experience card when Tang Heo said that this soul beast was more than 10 years old. Coupled with the shiny golden armor on his body, although he felt very uncomfortable at the moment, he could actually bear it, and was not harmed by this pressure. Starter Tang Lin finally understood at this moment that when he talked about his grandfather Tang Chen choosing the 10-year-old tortoise-like soul beast here as the last soul ring of the clear sky hammer for his second uncle Tang Heo, he always felt that something was wrong. At this moment, he finally knew. To Tang Chen, Tang Heo was the successor of the Clear Sky sect and the next Clear Sky Douluo, so expectations for him were naturally extremely high. Therefore, the last soul ring of the Clear Sky hammer was chosen for him. How could it be a tortoise-like soul beast with no attack power? They already know that this turtle is definitely not something they can defeat now. This soul beast has probably reached the level of 20 or even 30 years old. Feeling the powerful pressure, Tang Heo's face was extremely solemn, and the clear sky hammer instantly appeared beside him, resisting with him. With this powerful pressure, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, 3-year-old stone turtle. 3.30-year-old level. Tang Lin looked at the two islands from a distance, which together formed an extremely huge and terrifying stone turtle. Even though he had read many books and information about soul beasts, he had never seen this kind of turtle soul beast, and such a huge size was beyond his understanding of soul beasts. Uncle Heo, it's not all your fault. What should we do now? Tang Lin said, feeling speechless. The coercion of this giant stone turtle is indeed very strong, but if he wants to keep us like this, it is impossible. Tang Heo was not panicked, but looked coldly at the slowly waking up Shi Gui. Still said confidently, human. Huh? Is it you? Suddenly, when the stone turtle saw the huge clear sky hammer in Tang Heo's hand, he spoke again, as if he had known Tang Heo for a long time. Tang Lin frowned. Uncle Heo said that this was his first time coming to this place. How could he have known this turtle for a long time? If he had known it for a long time, would he still come to provoke it? Just when he was wondering, the stone turtle had completely raised its head above the sea level and seemed to be completely awake. Its two big eyes stared at Tang Heo, and then it said again, "No, you are not him. You are too weak." Got it? No one could feel it. This giant turtle seemed to be relieved. Tang Lin and Tang Heo were a little confused about Shi Gui's words. After thinking about it, I'm afraid that the turtle could only be talking about Tang Chen. Tang Heo had no expression on his face and came directly to Tang Lin. He put a hand on Tang Lin's shoulder. Tang Lin suddenly felt much more relaxed. This pressure obviously couldn't help Tang Heo. That hammer, you should be his descendant, right? For his sake, let's go, human, and don't bother me again, otherwise, you will die. Tang Heo and old Woogie looked at each other for a moment, and Woogie suddenly said, as a huge sound came, the waves were lifted up to a height of more than 10 meters. After saying that, Shi Gui restrained his pressure, and his body gradually sank, as if he was about to fall asleep again. Tang Lin breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that the big stone in his heart had finally fallen, but he vaguely felt that something was wrong. What do you think? Tang Heo didn't say anything, nor did he move. Instead, he stared at Shi Jiui and asked Tang Lin through a message. This question made Tang Lin a little surprised. His second uncle always had his own opinions, but he didn't expect that he would ask for his opinion. Uncle Heo, we can't fight a turtle that's 32 years old, right? I think we should evacuate quickly. There are many soul beasts in other places on this island of death. Let's just find one with a higher age. The healing effect will be everything will be fine. Tang Lin answered immediately without much hesitation. Isn't this nonsense? If you don't leave now, if they let you go, do you really think your life is too long? Not to mention that Tang Heo is not in the state of his heyday now. Even if he is half of what he was in his heyday, then they at least have some confidence to stay. But since Tang Heo's fight with Yu Yuansun, he has only recovered less than 20.00% so far. In this state, how can he fight with these 30-year-old soul beasts? Looking at its size, even if the turtle stood still, no matter how much the two of them attacked, it probably wouldn't be able to kill it. Therefore, Tang Lin chose to leave without hesitation. However, when he saw Tang Heo's expression, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Tang Heo sneered, and then said eagerly, since we have already come here, and found this turtle, if we don't try it, wouldn't it be a waste of time? Tang Lin could feel the raging war in his eyes becoming unstoppable. Second uncle, please don't get excited. The meat of this stone turtle may not achieve the therapeutic effect we expect. Why should we take such risks? Tang Lin immediately spoke, to try to persuade Tang Heo. However, how could Tang Heo still listen to him? He had already disappeared before his eyes. Turning around, I saw a huge force gathering on the sea level not far away. So fast? Exclamation mark. Tang Lin was confused for a moment. Isn't this second uncle some kind of boss? Do you really want to take action against Shigi? Human. You are courting death. Shi Jiui felt Tang Heo's momentum and was extremely angry. He immediately raised his head and stared fiercely at Tang Heo in the air. HMPH, clear sky hammer, random cloak. Tang Heo didn't say anything at all. With a cold snort, he turned up the clear sky hammer and hit the head of the stone turtle below. Even such a huge clear sky hammer was only the size of one of the stone turtle's eyes in front of it. It was hard to imagine what impact this hammer could have on such a huge stone turtle. The stone turtle was caught off guard, and the clear sky hammer fell on its head. Oh. There was a huge noise from the sea, and the stone turtle's entire huge head was instantly shot down into the sea. After a successful blow, Tang Heo did not take advantage of the situation to pursue him, but returned to Tang Lin instantly, and then stared at Shi Jiui coldly. Tang Lin stared blankly at this scene, a little unbelievable. He originally thought that this small blow would not cause any harm to the stone turtle, but he did not expect that he was caught off guard and could succeed with one blow. Although the stone turtle's defense is extremely strong, the hammer just hit it in the head, and it was at least damaged to a certain extent. Human, you have successfully angered me. Shi Jiui did not run away, but said in a deep voice. However, Tang Lin and the two of them had already felt Shi Jiui's anger from the bottom of their hearts. The atmosphere on the sea suddenly surged, and the seawater rose into the sky. The waves were led one after another. The momentum seemed to swallow the two of them directly. Don't panic. If I'm not wrong, it's just a bluff, Tang Heo said when he saw Tang Lin next to him looking extremely dignified and nervous. Bluffing? Tang Lin asked. The hammer I just struck could be resisted, but it didn't react in time. Moreover, I was seriously injured, and I didn't use my full strength just now. This is enough to explain a lot of problems, Tang Heo explained. After hearing Tang Heo's explanation, Tang Lin suddenly felt like he was able to see the dawn through the clouds. If this is the case, it means that the current condition of this turtle is not very good, or even very bad. In this case, there is a chance to kill it. Now, let's see how it attacks us. If it has strong attack power, then we will run away directly. If Tang Heo's eyes gradually became darker. Huge waves rushed towards them, and the two of them remained motionless. Shi Jiui had raised his head, stared at Tang Heo, and said coldly, I wanted to let you live, but I didn't expect you to seek your own death. From beginning to end, it only had the clear sky hammer and Tang Heo in its size, and Tang Lin next to Tang Heo was like an ant in its size, not worthy of its attention at all. After all, it is a 30-year-old spirit beast. Even if Tang Lin has now used the title Douluo experience card, it is just an ordinary title Douluo, and is indeed not worthy of its attention. Chapter 144. Tang Lin vs 3-year-old Black Turtle? Exclamation mark. Suicide? Tang Heo smiled disdainfully, immediately picked up the clear sky hammer, and was about to charge forward again, and said to Tang Lin, "It doesn't take you seriously at all, and this is worth taking advantage of, so you have to see the right moment to take action." Tang Heo believed in his inner guess even more, because this stone turtle only spoke harsh words, and pretended to be unfathomable and powerful, but did not attack the two of them head on. Maybe, this stone turtle is really like most turtle soul beasts, it can only defend, but has no means of attack. Seeing that Tang Heo didn't pay attention to it at all, but actually dared to attack it directly at this time, the stone turtle was extremely angry, almost extremely angry. HMPH, human, you are very good. Then let me show you the real gap between us. The moment the clear sky hammer fell, a huge turtle shell phantom appeared directly above the stone turtle. Boom. A huge collision sounded in the air. Two powerful momentums were raging on the sea, and the sea water was swaying in all directions. The surrounding trees had long been submerged, and the surroundings were full of broken eaves and broken walls. It was a mess. Tang Heo's expression was extremely solemn. The stone turtle's defense was really too strong. The blow just now was much stronger than the previous one, but it couldn't hurt it at all. It didn't even touch it at all. Not even a tiny bit, let alone hurt it. Is this the defensive power of a 30-year-old stone turtle? Tang Lin in the distance also had a solemn expression. If you can't even touch the turtle, how do you kill it? What's more, we still don't know if the stone turtle may be hiding any attack methods. Human, I've said it before, you're too weak, you can't even touch me. If you were in a state of complete victory, you might still be able to touch me, but now, you'd better give it to me. Get out. The stone turtle shook violently, and Tang Heo was already knocked high into the sky. Tang Heo was knocked away but still remained calm and collected, and did not feel the slightest surprise. Although I'm seriously injured, and in a bad state now, why are you the same? Tang Heo appeared above the stone turtle again and said, I'm afraid you haven't figured out the current situation yet. Even if I can't fight you now, I can also choose to leave peacefully. You can't keep me at all. However, I found you, and you have become my turtle in the urn. Even if you can withstand 1 or 2 blows from me, how many blows can you bear from me? After saying that, Tang Heo stopped talking, and didn't wait for the stone turtle's reaction. He immediately picked up the clear sky hammer and once again defended against the phantom of the turtle shell. Ninja of Haoshin. Boom. 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 Hammer after hammer hit the stone turtle's shell, and the stone turtle became more and more depressed. It had no idea that Tang Heo could exert such terrifying power, even if he was injured, as expected of that person's descendant. And what surprised him the most was that Tang Heo could guess that its current condition was very bad. Very bad. Even so what? I want to see how many hammers you can swing in your current state. Although I was a little surprised by Tang Heo's performance, it also had its own confidence. It is extremely confident in its own defense. Even if Tang Heo from the period of complete victory appears here, he will never be able to break through its current defense in a short time. Now, everyone is in a bad state. Let's see who can persist to the end. Who is better? Tang Lin watched the battle from the side, feeling like he couldn't do anything to help. He had used the level 91 title Douluo experience card out of desperation before, and it felt like it was going to be wasted. Now Tang Heo has used several hammers in succession, and the power of each hammer is very strong, so his physical strength and soul power are being consumed rapidly. Looking back at Shiggy, it seems that he has a lot of time. Tang Lin is watching, while anxious. The clear sky hammer hit the defensive shell of the giant stone black turtle countless times. Tang Heo's state had obviously declined. Although the stone turtle also tried its best to maintain its defense, in comparison, the state and same as before, nothing has changed at all. As expected of a 30-year-old black turtle, its defense power is indeed terrifying. Tang Heo suddenly stopped attacking and said, I have told you about the gap between you and me, but you are still so naive. You want to hunt me? Humph. The stone turtle's shell suddenly thrust forward, and with a bang, Tang Heo was knocked away again. Tang Heo followed its force, and was knocked flying to Tang Lin's side. He spit out a mouthful of blood, and felt as if his whole body was about to be shaken apart. Don't worry, it looks like nothing is happening on the surface, but in fact it is already feeling strenuous. Next, it's up to you to feel his power, and take out your pot of meat. Hearing Tang Heo's words, Tang Lin suddenly looked ugly. He actually wanted to fight this 30-year-old soul beast by himself. Second uncle is afraid that he is going crazy. Even though they were far apart, Tang Lin could still feel the power of this huge stone turtle. Every time the second uncle was knocked away, his heart would tremble inexplicably. You can imagine how terrifying the momentum and power of this black turtle is. Trust me, it's okay, go ahead. After Tang Heo took the pot of meat that Tang Lin cooked for him, he comforted Tang Lin. Then he immediately sat down and started eating. Second uncle, are you serious? Tang Lin suddenly had black lines on his face. After taking off his cloak, the shiny golden armor appeared. Tang Lin had no choice but to bite the bullet. Feeling the shiny golden armor on his body, he finally gained some confidence. Old turtle, let my nephew play with you next. Tang Heo shouted to the old turtle, and then kicked Tang Lin away in the direction of the stone turtle. Tang Lin. Seeing Tang Heo pushing out this little brat Tang Lin, Shi Gui was extremely angry. Who was he looking down on? Okay. You are very good. Then I will kill him first, and then I will deal with you. Shi Gui and others said angrily. Tang Lin was almost kicked in Shi Gui's face at this moment. After Shi Gui finished speaking, a huge dark grey turtle shell appeared above Tang Lin. Death to me. Even a mere ant wants to fight against its majestic 30-year-old soul beast. Isn't it looking for death? The huge turtle shell instantly hit Tang Lin. When it thought about it, killing an ant like Tang Lin was just a matter of waving its hand. However, the next moment, it was shocked. He thought that Tang Lin could not avoid his attack at all. However, in front of him, Tang Lin's golden armor suddenly grew a pair of huge wings. Suddenly, his speed reached an extremely terrifying level. It's not even much weaker than Tang Heo before, and he even dodged its attack in an instant. How is this possible? The stone turtle made an incredible sound. Chapter 146. The terrifying realm of the giant stone turtle. The moment Tang Heo spoke, he had already arrived in front of Zhuangui, while Tang Lin retreated far away, because he knew that the real battle would come next. This is a level 95 super titled Douluo level battle. Of course, he was not idle. After reaching a safe distance, he immediately took out the pan and began to cook the spirit beast meat. Since absorbing the 7-year-old spirit ring, he also has some ability to control flames. Now he can completely boil a pot of Shukwandabu beast broth in a very short time. As long as Uncle Heo can persist until the beast meat is cooked, he can come on stage once and replace Uncle Heo. This is one of Uncle Heo's plans, to fight a war of attrition. You were able to recover your physical strength and soul power in such a short period of time. How did you do it? As soon as Tang Heo appeared on the scene, the black turtle was extremely surprised. It could be considered that 30 years had passed. What it knew was that after a soul master's physical strength and soul power were greatly consumed, he could not even hope to return to his peak state in less than a day or two. However, it only took Tang Heo a short moment to return to the peak state when he first saw him, and he even felt a bit more powerful than when he first met him. How is this going? Tang Heo didn't answer, just stared at Zhuangui coldly. Zhuangui thought for a while, but still couldn't figure out why. Suddenly, it seemed to have thought of something again, and suddenly showed a trace of panic in its eyes. Although it was quickly covered up, Tang Heo still caught it. At this moment, Tang Heo was determined. Now you finally know why I have the confidence to fight you regardless of consumption, right? If I guessed correctly, you are seriously injured like me. However, I can recover in a short time, but you can only. It will continue to be consumed, and you can imagine the result. Tang Heo said in a deep voice. HMPH, originally I could spare your life because you are that person's descendant, but I didn't expect you to be so ungrateful. Now, I will give you one last chance and leave immediately. Otherwise, I will don't ever leave here. After hearing Tang Heio's words, Zhu and Turtle's momentum rose sharply, and he said angrily. Tang Heio knew that at this moment, although Zhuangui looked dismissive of his words, he was beginning to feel a little panic in his heart. Huh, don't hold on in front of me. You also know that it doesn't make any sense at all. You and I are both the same now. We are both seriously injured. I want to use you to restore my body's hidden disease. You were the same at first. You want to use me to restore some of your old injuries, but you only became jealous of me after seeing my clear sky hammer. Tang Heio said with a disdainful smile. How did you find out? Zhuangui was exposed by Tang Heio so directly. Although he felt a little embarrassed on his face, he finally stopped trying to pretend that he was still in peak condition, because it was really tiring to pretend like this. Because when you first discovered that I was destroying your territory, the aura you gave off was full of boundless killing intent. At that time, you really wanted to kill me. However, when you saw my clear sky hammer, you showed a trace of with a strange look in his eyes. He also said, for the sake of my grandfather, spare my life. If you hadn't said this before, the aura and coercion you exude, which is comparable to a peak level 95 or even level 96 titled Douluo, would have been enough to scare me away. However, you should never say that this sentence came out. Why? Is there anything wrong with this sentence? Zhuangui is still a little unbelievable. He can guess so much just from this sentence. Tang Lin in the distance also heard their conversation. At this moment, he could only shake his head at the black turtle. The turtle's mind was indeed not very bright. My grandfather was already a level 99 ultimate title Douluo many years ago, and I still know him somewhat, so he wouldn't have any relationship with the spirit beast. The only possibility I can think of is that he once passed by here. However, you didn't know his strength at the time, so you provoked him, and then he severely injured you, but he didn't take your life. Am I right? The black turtle fell silent immediately. Although its expression could not be seen, one could imagine how ugly its face looked at this moment, because Tang Heio's guess was basically correct. HMPH, I didn't expect that you guessed it all. Yes, I was seriously injured by that man many years ago. Zhuangui showed a look of recollection at this moment, and he just waved it's just a hammer, and it directly beat me at my peak state into a near-death state. The black turtle's huge eyes stared at the clear sky hammer in Tang Heio's hand, with deep fear in his eyes. That man is really too powerful. I have never seen such a powerful human soul master. At this point, he had recovered from the deep fear, and then looked at Tang Heio and said coldly, but compared with him, you are far behind, even though I'm seriously injured now. But you can't kill me. Of course, I don't want to waste my energy to kill you. I know that your speed is unusual. If you want to leave, I can't stop you at all, so I said that. Let you leave. After Tang Heio destroyed so many islands, and fought with him again, Zhuangui had already guessed that Tang Heio should have at least 2 to 3 soul bones, and one of them must be a leg soul bone. Therefore, if Tang Heio found that he couldn't beat him and wanted to retreat, there was nothing he could do to Tang Heio, so he said that he would give Tang Heio one last chance and let him leave. After all, there are other powerful soul beasts on this island of death. If after the battle with Tang Heio, he worsens his injuries again, and then other soul beasts find out about it, even if they are not killed by Tang Heio, they will be killed by other soul beasts. Therefore, he instinctively did not want to fight Tang Heio. Really? Tang Heio sneered. Today's Zhuangui is only getting worse and worse. As long as he cooperates properly with Tang Lin, he can be completely exhausted. Since you don't want to leave, then only 9 people have done it. Seeing that Tang Heio was not moved at all, he seemed to have completely regarded himself as prey. Zhuangui also had a temper. Although he did not want to take action with Tang Heio fights, but that doesn't mean he can be bullied at will. At this moment, he gradually regained his confidence. He had always been afraid of Tang Chin and the clear sky hammer before, but now he finally knew that the person in front of him was not the one who seriously injured him, and the hammer in his hand was not the one that seriously injured him. Hammer, Tang Heo, is just an ordinary titled Douluo who is less than level 95. Even though he is extremely powerful in combat, he is still seriously injured. And he is a 30-year-old soul beast. After so many years of cultivation, he has recovered enough strength. If Tang Heo refuses to leave, even if he fights to the death, he can even kill him to avenge the blow he suffered back then. Hammer of the Clear Sky, Chaotic Cape. Tang Heo didn't say anything more and deliberately delayed it for so long. Tang Lin should have almost finished the pot of beast meat, and now it's time to take action. It was obvious that Tang Heo did not want to use all his strength. He wanted to fight a war of attrition. However, no matter how stupid Zhu and Turtle was, he understood this, so he would not follow Tang Heo's footsteps. I saw a faint protective shield of turtle shell appearing on the black turtle. It was as hard as iron, and could not be shaken by the Clear Sky Hammer. Then, a powerful aura enveloped this space. All the islands in this space instantly fell apart, and even the sea level was completely suppressed. This is a realm. Tang Heo stood in midair, feeling the pressure around him, and suddenly frowned, obviously struggling. As for Tang Lin, his whole body was suppressed to the ground in an instant, and a human-shaped pit was formed on the ground. If he hadn't reacted quickly, and was wearing the shiny golden armor, he would have been suppressed to an unknown depth by now. The place has gone. This field is truly terrifying. Chapter 147. Killing God Realm, Black Turtle Crisis. Tang Heo could feel that the gravity of a large area around him instantly increased by more than 30 times, and this was the area released by the black turtle when he was seriously injured. Is this black turtle's domain a domain where it can control the surrounding gravity to form a gravity field? And this gravity field is different from the ordinary gravity field. It can even suppress the soul power exponentially in this field, not to mention that my movements are slow. Even lifting the Clear Sky Hammer to fight is a bit difficult. In this range, my combat effectiveness seems to drop several times in an instant. It is really a terrifying field. Is this the realm of the 30-year-old soul beast? Tang Lin spat out a sentence with difficulty. This is not only gravity suppression, but also soul power suppression and mental suppression. Fortunately, he had a strong body and the armor on his body. After using the pan to resist, Tang Lin finally slowly got up and sat up. Tang Lin finally felt the power of this level of strength. Even if he used the level 91 title experience card, he was nothing more than an ant in the field of this 30-year-old black turtle. This further stimulated his enterprising spirit. Thinking about the power of Wuhan Palace, with his current strength, he may not be able to defeat his father. However, his father is so important, and he must make sure that he has a % chance of winning! Exclamation mark. Therefore, this black turtle must die today no matter what. Far away, Tang Heo was knocked away by the black turtle's soul skill and vomited blood. He originally wanted to slowly consume the black turtle, but the black turtle didn't give him a chance. Actually, I can't figure it out. That person could get the soul bones if he killed me, but he didn't kill me. Hahaha, I'm afraid he never thought that I would meet his descendants. Today, I will kill you here to avenge the past, and then absorb your power, which may not only make up for the losses in this battle, but even allow me to return to my peak state faster. Shigui's deep sounds came from all around. He didn't believe that with his powerful domain and nearly invincible defense power, he would lose to the human in front of him who had not even reached level 95. Tang Heo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Zhuanghui coldly. My grandfather didn't kill you, maybe because he simply disdained to kill you. Of course, it's also possible that he wanted to leave you to his grandson as a soul ring. That's me, but I don't need a soul ring now. I only need your soul bones and your life. If it weren't for Tang Lin, he might never have remembered the existence of this soul beast in his life, because it was just a casual sentence Tang Chen said to him inadvertently when he was a child. If there was nothing wrong with Tang Feng, he really wanted to leave this soul beast to his son Tang San. However, Tang Feng was captured by Wuhan Palace and forced him to come out. Wuhan Palace even contacted the sect! Exclamation mark. Therefore, he must return to peak condition as much as possible. Therefore, he now needs the essence of this soul beast. Moreover, killing this soul beast will definitely drop the soul bone, which can also increase his strength. While speaking, Tang Heo released his God of Killing domain that he had experienced in the Killing City. Young little titled Douluo, who was seriously injured, actually spoke arrogantly. If I didn't want to consume myself too much, I wouldn't have talked to you like this before. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? The black turtle became angry, and a huge stone turtle shell fell from the sky. However, Tang Heo did not run away this time. He raised the clear sky hammer to greet him. Boom. Although there is suppression by the black turtle's domain, this black turtle is a defensive soul beast after all. His attack methods are single and weak. However, with the perfect combination of the Killing God domain and the clear sky hammer, Tang Heo even used only one hammer. Just disintegrate the black turtle's attack methods. Recommended reading / there was a turbulence in the air. The energy of the two collided with each other, and the sky was full of gravel flying. After Tang Heo struck, he immediately appeared above the black turtle's head. The huge clear sky hammer increased in size again at this moment, and the destructive power of the Killing God realm burst out, directly hitting the black turtle's head. Absolute defense. Black Turtle used his defensive skills, and a huge barrier suddenly appeared in the air, blocking Tang Heo's attack. Oh. This blow was so powerful that the sound of the collision was unprecedentedly loud. At the point of collision, it seemed as if even the space was exploding and destroyed. Tang Heo was thrown back dozens of meters by the shock. Zhuangui also let out a muffled groan, but it can be known that he did not receive any harm at all. Tang Heo frowned. After so long, this was the first time he encountered a soul beast with such strong defense. This was still when he was seriously injured. If he was in peak condition, how terrifying would it be if the defense were gone? However, to defend against such a terrifying soul beast, my grandfather actually beat him to a near-death state with just one hammer blow. My grandfather's strength was too terrifying. Through these few fights, especially this time, Tang Heo also roughly knows the current strength and offensive capabilities of this black turtle. If he can use the Great Sumeru Hammer with his current state, he is confident that he can defeat this black turtle within 3 hammers. Black turtle kills. The problem is, it's not available today. The only thing you can do is spend it. To maintain such a huge domain, Zhuangjiui's consumption will only be more than his own. Even though Zhuangjiui's current energy is far more than his own, he still has Tang Lin as his helper, but it's not like he can't give it a try. After figuring it out, Tang Heo struck again. One man and one beast fought again. This space has long been pockmarked, even the seawater is like this, and there is no trace of any living things around it. This time, the battle between the two lasted for a long time. They continued for about half an hour. During this period, Tang Heo did not stop his attacks. Almost every hammer had a certain amount of force. The black turtle also knew that the Haoshan hammer was not good. It took a lot of effort to cope with it, and then he was able to take all Tang Heo's attacks. Your defense is indeed very strong, but how long can you last? Tang Heo is now covered in scars, but of course, these injuries are nothing. The most fatal injuries were the old wounds caused by the previous battles with the Pope of Wuhan Palace, Qin Daoliu, and the recent battle with Yu Yuanzhen and others. The current injuries could be recovered by using the animal meat that Tang Lin now possessed. After saying that, without waiting for Zhuan Turtle to recover, Tang Heo came to Tang Lin in an instant and directly pulled him to escape with him. With the God of Killing domain and a piece of leg soul bone, Zhuan Turtle knew that he couldn't keep him, so he didn't waste any energy. If you try to stop them, you can only watch them escape. He knew that Tang Heo was going back to recover. Maybe they would be back in less than half an hour. He thought he could kill Tang Heo, but he still underestimated Tang Heo. This man's combat power was not just that of an ordinary titled Douluo. Even when he was seriously injured, he was comparable to an ordinary level 95 Super Douluo! Exclamation mark. Zhuan Turtle finally felt a huge crisis. Is it possible that he was really going to die at the hands of this kid? Exclamation mark. Chapter 148. Fight side by side. Use the level 95 title Douluo experience card. Uncle Heo, this old turtle's defense is too strong. What should we do? Deep in the forest, Tang Heo was eating animal meat while recovering. Tang Lin asked worriedly. Uncle Heo fights the black turtle so hard, and it seems that he can advance or retreat, but if he is not careful, he will really be killed by the black turtle. After all, the black turtle's field is also extremely strong, suppressing the enemy in all aspects, plus at least 30 times the gravity suppression. If you really have to fight to consume it, I'm afraid that you will not be able to consume all the energy of this turtle, even if you fight for 3 days and 3 nights. I can only fight him head on. I predict he can last about 3 to 5 days. After all, this is his territory. He definitely has ways and treasures to recover, but his recovery is relatively slow. Tang Heo shook his head. There is no other way. If the black turtle does not attack Tang Heo, he will close his domain and then focus entirely on defense. Tang Heo I must use his killing god domain in conjunction with the clear sky hammer to reach the point of consuming the black turtle. So compared to under this circumstance, black turtle's consumption in battle is many times smaller than Tang Heo's consumption. Hearing Tang Heo's answer and explanation, Tang Lin frowned immediately. If he continued like this and spent too much time here, he might not be able to kill this black turtle, and the result would undoubtedly be unacceptable to him. Tang Lin thought for a while and began to think about how to deal with the current situation. The expiration date of his current experience card is about to expire. If he uses a level 95 experience card and cooperates with Uncle Heo, it is possible for Shidao to reach the end of the level 95 experience card before the expiration date. Get rid of this black turtle? If this is the case, even if I don't have the experience card in the end, but I can restore Uncle Heo to his peak state, the result will undoubtedly be excellent. Because he knew that Tang Heo's trump card was to explode the ring. If he could really return to his peak state, what if Douluo came? Thinking of this, he suddenly made a decision in his heart. Now, all we can do is take a gamble. Uncle Heo, maybe I can kill this soul beast within half an hour. Even if I can't, I can still consume him to the maximum extent and definitely make him not last until the next day. Hearing this, Tang Heo's eyes lit up. If someone else said this, he would definitely slap him in the face and say what nonsense. However, from what Tang Lin said, he felt a sense of trust for no reason. About half an hour later, Tang Heo and Tang Lin appeared above the sea again. Tang Lin wore shiny golden armor, and a pair of flame-like golden wings slowly swung, allowing him to stand in the air. Despicable humans. Seeing Tang Heo regaining his condition again, Black Turtle gritted his teeth and cursed angrily. Tang Heo looked at the Black Turtle coldly and said nothing. The huge clear sky hammer with traces of thunder and lightning appeared in the sky out of thin air, instantly covering the sky, making the surrounding area instantly turn into dark black. This is the true form of Uncle Heo's weapon soul. Tang Lin could feel the somewhat twisted space around him, full of depressing atmosphere. Uncle Heo was finally going to take action. In conjunction with the killing god realm, Tang Heo took action without saying a word. Zhu and Gui suddenly frowned. He felt that something had changed after Tang Heo came back this time. For some reason, an indescribable emotion filled his whole body, which seemed to be an unprecedented sense of crisis. At the same time, his field also released it. Because he knew that once the weapon spirit avatar was used, Tang Heo's combat effectiveness would skyrocket in an instant, and the only way to suppress it was to use his own domain to suppress it. Boom. The two realms collided, and the clear sky hammer directly bombarded the Black Turtle's defensive shell, making an explosion. This time, Zhuangui was finally shaken by Tang Heo. I saw that the sea water surged all around the Black Turtle, forming waterfall-like seawater barriers around the Black Turtle, and the Black Turtle's entire head was blasted into the sea. Almost at the same time that Tang Heo took action, Tang Lin also took action instantly. The level 95 title Douluo experience card was used immediately, and a powerful energy appeared above the entire sea level. GD and King Kill. A slash that tore apart space instantly struck the Black Turtle's neck. After using the level 95 experience card, Tang Lin's strength was comparable to that of Tang Heo. How could his full strength attack be weak? A fist-wide wound instantly appeared on Zhu and Turtle's neck, and blood was flowing out. However, such a small wound cannot cause any substantial damage to such a huge black turtle. The body of this black turtle is too terrifying. Zhuangui came back to his senses and was extremely surprised. He was not surprised to be injured by Tang Heio's blow. However, the human boy next to Tang Heio, who had always been inconspicuous, suddenly had so much strength that he could even hurt himself. Tang Heio alone was already a bit difficult for him to resist, but now that someone so powerful appeared again, he suddenly became wary. He didn't dare to be careless anymore, and his neglect of Tang Lin disappeared in an instant, because now Tang Lin could truly threaten himself. Zhuangui raised his head and stared at Tang Heio and Tang Lin standing side by side in the air, with deep fear in his eyes. He did not want to sit still and wait for death. The domain was released again and strengthened again. But now Tang Lin can completely resist this pressure. Although his strength will drop significantly, the black turtle is also being consumed. The two of them cooperated for the first time and succeeded in one blow. They didn't hesitate too much and immediately took action again. Tang Lin and Tang Heio each have their own division of labor. Tang Heio's clear sky hammer is powerful in attacking and destroying and is responsible for the black turtle's head, while Tang Lin's forehead slash is sharp enough and is responsible for hitting the black turtle's long neck. Seeing the two people flying towards him from both sides, the black turtle was immediately angry and a huge palm swept towards the two people. As soon as the black turtle moved, the entire sea felt like the end of the world. A terrifying whirlpool appeared, dark and terrifying, and waves of seawater rushed in. Hammer of the clear sky, chaotic cape. Tang Heio faced the huge wave and waved the clear sky hammer. The huge wave disintegrated like waste paper. After dodging the huge palm, it hit the black turtle directly on the head. On the other side, Tang Lin relied on his armor to fly to the black turtle's palm and then use slashes one after another. However, the effect was not that ideal. Even if the slashes were made with 10,000 year soul rings, they would not be able to survive. The terrifying defense of the black turtle cannot be broken. Absolute defense. Facing the two people's endless attacks, Black Turtle immediately stopped attacking the two people and instead used his strongest defensive skills. I saw huge turtle shells appearing around the black turtle, forming a fortress-like defensive wall. Tang Lin and Tang Heio couldn't attack it at all, let alone attack the black turtle's body. The two frowned. Even though they had thought about this situation before, they never thought that this black turtle really defended with absolute defense without blind spots. No matter where you attack, the defense will be equally strong. There seems to be no weakness at all. It's useless. Your attacks are ineffective against my absolute defense. Zhuangui watched the two men's constant attempts to attack in leisurely time and finally felt confident in his heart. After Tang and Lin attacked for a while, they found that it was true as he said. In front of this defensive fortress, their attacks could not damage it at all. If we continue fighting like this, how can we get rid of this turtle within the planned half hour? However, when they came here just now, they had already thought of this situation. How could the defensive skills of a 30-year-old defensive soul beast be simple? Faced with such a situation, even Tang Heio found it difficult, but Tang Lin was not surprised at all. He just grinned and replied to Zhu and Turtle, any soul skill has its shortcomings and flaws, and it will not be perfect. Flawless, the same goes for your absolute defense. Chapter 149, 98k appearances, the sniper field. HMPH, shameless. Faced with Tang Lin's answer, Zhuangui naturally showed great disdain, because he was very confident in his absolute defense, and had absolutely no shortcomings in front of these two people. Tang Lin shook his head, and said with a smile, if it is true as you said, your defensive soul skill has no shortcomings, then how could you be beaten to a near-death state by a hammer? After Tang Lin uncovered his scar and fought back, Zhuangui said with a sullen face, what's the use of talking so much? If you have the ability, just break through my defense. Nowadays, even Tang Heio Dao can't do anything to him. Such a young brat dares to say that his absolute defense is not perfect. This made him very unhappy with Tang Lin. In the previous battle, Tang Heio had the killing god domain, so it goes without saying that his combat prowess was negligible. However, Tang Lin was unable to exert much combat effectiveness under the black turtle's domain. That's why the black turtle looked down upon Tang Lin so much. Your defense, which you think is invincible, is actually not invincible in the eyes of both of us. Tang Lin didn't say anything more and said this calmly. If Uncle Heo uses the ring explosion, the black turtle's defense in its current state will not be able to stop it at all. As for himself, after using the level 95 experience card, the black turtle's defense is no longer as scary in his eyes as it was before. Starter at this moment, Tang Lin closed his eyes. At this moment, within a radius of 10 miles with Tang Lin as the center, a terrifying energy that made people feel faint appeared. Zhuangui felt this palpitating energy, and his eyes suddenly widened. This kind of aura did not come from Tang Heo, but from Tang Lin. Not only Zhuangui was surprised, but Tang Heo next to him was also shocked, because, at the same time, he saw another martial spirit appear on Tang Lin's left hand. This is a martial spirit he has never seen, or even heard of. In so many years, this was the first time that Tang Lin released his second martial spirit, 98k in front of others. At the same time, the surroundings have also changed. An indescribable energy filled the surroundings, and the pressure exerted by the black turtle on Tang Lin instantly collapsed. Tang Lin's entire body was looming in this space. If he hadn't known that Tang Lin was nearby, Tang Heo would have almost I can't feel Tang Lin's breath. This is the realm. Tang Heo frowned. That's right. This is Tang Lin's domain. Tang Lin called it the sniper realm. In this field, the enemy's defense capabilities will be greatly reduced. He can hide himself infinitely close to perfection, and he can observe the enemy's fatal weakness. Seeing Tang Lin release his domain, Tang Heo was convinced that there might be hope of solving this soul beast. Hahaha, you are worthy of being a member of my Haoshan sect. It seems that he has really received the inheritance of the creation god. God will not perish my Haoshan sect. Wuhan Palace. In order to lure me out, you actually arrested his father. Hahaha, you will regret it. At this moment, Tang Heo was extremely happy. He no longer hesitated, and immediately swung the Clear Sky Hammer. With the blessing of Clear Sky's avatar, the soul bone of his right arm burst out with absolute power, and combined with his god of killing domain, he unleashed a powerful blow. When he felt Tang Lin's erratic aura, Zuan Turtle was already a little anxious, because he actually began to believe Tang Lin's words. However, just when he started to search for Tang Lin's location, an even more tyrannical aura came over him. Damn human. After feeling Tang Heo's powerful momentum, he had to defend Tang Heo's attack with all his strength. Boom. The Clear Sky Hammer collided with the black turtle's defensive shell, and there was an explosion in the sky. Energy raged all around. The sea water had been stirred up and down, and the black turtle was once again blasted into the sea by Tang Heo. However, black turtle's defense was undoubtedly terrifying. Although he was hit, it still did not hurt him. The black turtle had been attacked so many times, so he had a good memory, so he quickly seized the opportunity, and before Tang Heo could react, he directly used his defensive turtle shell to knock Tang Heo back hard. Seeing Tang Heo being knocked away by the black turtle and vomiting blood, Tang Lin didn't show any unnecessary expression. He still hid in the dark and coldly observed the battle situation, trying to find opportunities. HMPH, is this the strongest attack you can deliver now? It's nothing more than that. I've told you a long time ago about the gap between you and me. No matter how many times you attack, it will be useless. It will only be a waste of your energy. Zhuangui said coldly when he saw Tang Heo vomiting blood and felt much relieved. Tang Heo's attack this time was because he used almost all his strength and had no time to withdraw his strength, so Zhuangui seized this opportunity, but in fact, all of this is within Tang Heo's calculations. What he wants is Zuan Turtle's contempt for him. As long as Zuan Turtle thinks this is the strongest blow he can deliver at present, then the next battle will have an extra chance of winning. In order to have a better chance of winning, he would rather get injured in exchange. Facing the black turtle, Tang Heo responded by swinging another hammer. After Tang Heo swung 3 hammers in a row, Zhuangui was in a good mood, because he saw that Tang Heo was starting to feel a little weak. After all, every full strength shot required a lot of energy and energy. As for Tang Lin, who was hiding in the dark, he was naturally always vigilant. Although he only felt palpitations from Tang Lin for a moment, it was enough to show that Tang Lin posed a certain threat to him. After all, Tang Lin was also now the level 95 title. Douluo has a higher soul power than Tang Heo, so he cannot be ignored. Tang Heo used 3 hammers, but did not achieve good results, but he remained expressionless. He clenched the clear sky hammer with both hands again, intending to hit Zhuangui again, but Zhuangui sneered at this. He could feel it. Tang Heo's strength was gradually declining. Just when Tang Heo was about to swing the hammer, Zhuangui suddenly felt a feeling of heart palpitations. This didn't come from Tang Heo, but from Tang Lin. Tang Lin suddenly appeared in front of Zhu and Turtle, holding 98k in his hand, aiming at the fatal weakness of Zhu and Turtle's absolute defense, and preparing to attack. In Tang Lin's sniper field, he could not only see the fatal weakness of the black turtle, but also see every weakness of the black turtle's absolute defense. Tang Heo and Tang Lin almost appeared at the same time. One appeared above Zhu and Turtle's head, and the other appeared directly in front of him. They wanted to attack him almost at the same time. Compared to Tang Heo's clear sky hammer, he instinctively felt that Tang Lin posed a greater threat to him. Therefore, he immediately turned his defense focus and attention to Tang Lin's side, because he had no idea how Tang Lin would attack him next. After all, he didn't know 98k's attack method, but he could have felt that Tang Lin's attack was definitely not weaker than Tang Heo's strongest attack. As for Tang Heo, even if his absolute defense center is not on his side, it can definitely withstand Tang Heo's strongest blow. So there is no problem with his arrangement like this. It can be said to be perfect. However, just when he thought Tang Lin was going to attack him, he saw Tang Lin's weird smile. At this moment, he instinctively felt that he seemed to have made a mistake somewhere. However, as soon as this idea came up, Tang Heo attacked, and he realized that he had been thinking wrong all along, but it was already too late. Chapter 150, 98k, The Nightmare of a Defensive Soul Beast. Heoshin's magical skill, the Great Sumeru Hammer. Tang Heo's attack changed from the original random cloak to a large Sumeru hammer, which directly bombarded the black turtle's defensive shell, causing the shell to burst instantly. The Great Sumeru Hammer, in theory, condenses all of one's soul rings into one, injects them all into the Heoshin hammer, and turns them into the purest power and attack power, increasing one's own strength geometrically, and forcibly breaking through all constraints. Exhibit powerful strength beyond your own soul power. He was following the path of losing 10 benefits with one force. No matter how many soul skills and skills the opponent had, they could not compete with the purest power and attack power of the Clear Sky Hammer. Theoretically speaking, the power of Heoshin Douluo's Great Sumeru Hammer is infinite point. Although it is currently impossible for Tang Heo to use the powerful skill of the Great Sumeru Hammer, Ring Explosion, the Great Sumeru Hammer is still the most powerful attack method besides Ring Explosion. Because of Tang Lin's restraint, Black Turtle had not exhausted its resistance to Tang Heo, so Tang Heo was able to achieve such results with one strike. Only at this moment did Zhu and Turtle realize that he had always underestimated this human being and the power of the Clear Sky Hammer. However, all this was understood too late, because next moment, Tang Lin finally took action. Tang Lin knew that Tang Heo had never used the Great Sumeru Hammer in previous battles, so his plan was to let Tang Heo break through the Black Turtle's absolute defense as much as possible, and then leave the rest to him. After Tang Heo broke through Zhuanggui's absolute defense, he was also looking forward to Tang Lin's performance. He didn't know where Tang Lin got the confidence to kill this spirit beast. You must know how terrifying the defense of this soul beast is. Even if you put aside the absolute defense skills, this black turtle cannot be killed % by its physical defense alone. Even if he uses the Great Sumeru Hammer, only the Ring Explosion can kill him. Only then would he be % sure. But Tang Lin only said that after breaking through the absolute defense, leave it to him to kill. This had to make him look forward to it. At the moment when Zhu and Turtle's absolute defense broke down, Tang Lin raised the 98k in his hand, already aiming at Zhu and Turtle's most fatal weakness, the left eye. Because behind the left eye is the most vulnerable brain center of the black turtle, his shot must pass through the black turtle's left eye and directly hit the brain behind it to complete the killing blow. This sounds simple, but it is not that simple to do. As long as the black turtle closes his eyes during this process, his hard skin will block the 98k bullet, and it will not be able to achieve a one-hit kill. If this blow cannot kill, after the black turtle is prepared, it will be difficult for the two of them to kill this black turtle in a short time. So, there is only one chance. However, Tang Lin had no unnecessary worries at the moment. As a sniper, he must remain calm, no matter what the situation, and wait for the best opportunity to shoot. At this time, Zoo and Turtle's defense was broken by Tang Heo. While he was shocked, he discovered that Tang Heo actually withdrew his strength in an instant. It was clear that, after breaking his absolute defense with this blow, he could hit him on the head. With his attack, the intensity and force of the blow can completely injure yourself. However, Tang Heo stopped. How could this be? At this moment, he seemed to remember something, and suddenly turned around. It's now. Tang Lin was waiting for the moment when Zhuanghui thought of him again, and turned his head. Boom. A clear gunshot resounded throughout the sea. Under Tang Lin's sniper realm, the Black Turtle's defense was reduced by a large margin. Tang Lin used his 95k with the strength of a level 98 super titled Douluo, and the bullet went directly through the Black Turtle's left eye, turned around, and then penetrated all the way through, and finally penetrated directly through the huge left eye, until it reached the brain behind the left eye. The bullet exploded directly out of the brain. Raw. Boundless pain came, and the Black Turtle suddenly made a huge and deep tearing sound. The whole sea is shaking. The whole island is shaking. Did you succeed? Tang Heo came to Tang Lin's side in an instant, and the clear sky hammer was ready. Well, it's over. Under my sniper realm, his defense is useless. Coupled with the 98k penetration power of my second martial spirit, his brain has been penetrated by me. The next step is just to beat him to death and struggle. Tang Lin replied. Feeling the heart-rending tearing sound of the Black Turtle, Tang Heo had already made some guesses, but when he heard Tang Lin's exact answer with his own ears, he still felt a little unbelievable. Tang Lin is only in his teens. Is he already so terrifying? Is the god of creation really that perverted? This second martial soul of yours is definitely a nightmare for all defensive soul beasts. Tang Heo said again. When Tang Lin's second martial spirit appeared, even he could feel a trace of palpitations deep in his heart. To be precise, this martial spirit was not only a nightmare for defensive spirit beasts, it should be a nightmare for all those he targeted. Praise nightmare. Despicable human being, I want you to die. The Black Turtle made a huge angry sound that resounded throughout the Death Island, but his anger seemed so powerless. Retreat to a safe distance first. He is just having a flashback now. Faced with the oppressive momentum of the Black Turtle, Tang Lin chose to leave first. Tang Heo nodded, and the two of them ran away in an instant, ignoring the Black Turtle at all. There are risks hidden everywhere on this island of death. Since we already know the fate of this Black Turtle, we should retreat first, and come back to get him, after recovering soul bones and animal flesh. / Of course, they won't go far. They need to observe this Black Turtle at all times to avoid any accidents. His brain was penetrated and blasted to pieces, and Zoo and Turtle was enduring incomparable pain at this moment. He hated these two humans, and he even hated Tang Chen, who beat him to a near-death state before. Am I really going to die like this? At this moment, he finally regretted provoking Tang Chen. When Tang Chen passed by here, he just felt that Tang Chen's energy was extremely huge, and he didn't find him, so he thought he was not a powerful character who could threaten him. I just wanted to devour him and further increase my strength, but I didn't expect that I would hit the iron plate. It's not that they haven't noticed themselves at all, and they don't take themselves seriously at all. Because of my own greed, I have led to the current situation. He really regretted it. After tens of thousands of years of hard work, he died in such a wretched manner. After the flashback, Zoo and Turtle became completely weak. He wanted to escape into the sea, but found that he was too injured and couldn't move at all. Even his consciousness was disappearing bit by bit. HMPH, human being, kill me. One day, you will pay the price for it, and you will regret it. I don't know how long it took, but finally, after uttering such extremely weak words that no one could hear, Zoo and Turtle finally died completely. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.